Hoover is like actively writing another book.
She's due for another one too.
No, she is not. Like a child. She's due for another one.
She might be, for all I know. This one was solely because it was requested by so many of you guys that wanted us to read the book Layla by Colleen Hoover, because you guys do not want to give us rest. You guys do not want to give us peace. You guys want to give us horror and spookiness, because that's exactly what this book is about. It's about spookiness. Do you know anything about this book?
No.
I'm gonna say I read this book pretty quickly because I had to, because time was ticking. Adam heard me a few times like gasp when I was reading this, and he's like, oh, so you like the book, you think it's good? I'm like, no, I'm just like shocked. And I'll give my thoughts obviously at the end when everyone is caught up to speed, but this is her like supernatural book, because the last one wasn't supernatural. That one was just like psychologically like fucked up. So what little supernatural creature do you think is gonna be in this? I think leprechauns.
Ghouls? No.
What gives you that impression?
Well, that's what supernatural means.
Fuck.
I feel like a demon. She is not a Christian!
We may have some visitors and some guests enter in.
Yeah.
Some supernatural visitors and guests. Wanted to give a big thank you to Curology for sponsoring today's video. New year, maybe you have some New Year's resolutions or goals for yourself. For me personally in 2024, I want to keep up with my skincare routine and also buy less beauty products, which is really convenient because Curology will help me with that. I love Curology so much. This is my bottle. Like she's almost ready for a new one. This is her replacement. I've been feeling so good in my skin, even with the change of weather and things getting colder. Usually around this time, I will break out even more and my skin will change because of the weather and even because of stress from the holidays and everything. I will be picking at my skin, but with Curology helping my skin stay glowy, clear, helping with dark marks, red spots, has been a total game changer for me and my self-confidence. And I am not one to gatekeep, and I'm telling you, there is no secret. It's literally Curology. The really nice thing is that I can go onto Curology's website, message with the dermatology provider, let them know some troubles that I have with my skin, how it's reacting, and then the dermatology provider makes a custom formula for me and sends it right to my door, which is extremely convenient. I cannot say good enough things about Curology, and I cannot tell you how many friends I have got on to using Curology. If you guys want to try Curology out for yourself this year, make sure that you click the link in my description or the link that is on screen and start your own Curology journey today. Subscription is required and subject to consultation. Thank you, Curology.
Okay, so my interpretation of the cover here is that this isn't a real person. That's a ghost. That's a demon. The little like outline of a person right there. Layla isn't alive. And the main guy character is fucking a ghost.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Your like little interpretations before the book is even done is better usually than what Colleen Hoover ends up writing. How long do you think this is going to take us to read? It's 5:30.
Oh my god. I think we're going to get done at 12.
Really?
I'm hoping to make it home for Christmas and New Year's.
The supernatural is the natural not yet understood.
And then she proceeds to write like the worst book you've ever read.
I think we can get this done in an hour.
Go ahead. Let's start the interview. I placed 2 layers of duct tape over Layla's mouth before I came downstairs, but I can still hear her muffled screams as the detective takes a seat at the table. Please state your name, he says. I clear my throat. Leeds. Gabriel.
Stupidest fucking name ever.
Yeah, how is that not? How is that his name and not
okay, no,
it flipped?
No offense.
Gabriel Leeds.
I was going to say I'm sorry to anyone who's watching my videos whose name is Leeds, but no man is watching my videos. And second of all, no man named Leeds is watching my video.
How can I have hope for a way out of this when things have gotten so out of control? I'm speaking to a detective I met online while my girlfriend is upstairs losing her damn mind. As if she knows I'm thinking about her, the noise picks up again. The wooden headboard pounds against the wall upstairs, creating an eerie echo in this huge empty house. So, the man says, he seems like he'll be able to work through the noise, but I'm not sure I can. Knowing Layla is suffering because of my actions is not something I can easily ignore. Oh, okay, so he didn't abduct her or something. Every sound coming from upstairs makes me flinch. Why don't we start with how you two met? The man suggests. I'm hesitant to respond to the question that I know won't lead to answers, but at this point, I'd rather hear my own voice than Layla's muffled screams. We met here last summer.
That's his voice?
What do you want it to be?
Nothing, I just didn't think that we were going back to John Mulaney.
Well, it's like the only impression I know how to do.
You know other men. I don't, but you know other men. Should he be British?
We met here last summer.
Yes! How to be the most annoying 2 people. We're gonna be so sick of this by like the three.
We're gonna stop like literally in 10 minutes. We met here last summer. This used to be a bed and breakfast. I was the bass player in the band that played her sister's wedding. How does meeting Layla relate to what's happening inside this house? Maybe it doesn't, but that's That's why I'm here, Leeds. Oh, wait.
Oh, no, he's American.
British too. The detective is American. No, the detective is Sherlock Holmes.
There can be two British
Everyone's
people.
British.
This is in Kansas.
Okay, fine. Maybe it doesn't. That's why I'm here, Leeds. Anything could be a clue. I need you to go back to the first day you were here. What was Layla wearing?
And did she deserve it?
What color were her panties? Why were you both here? What was the first thing she said to you? Did either of you notice anything out of the ordinary about the house that night? I rest my elbows on the table and slide my palms over my ears to drown out the sounds Layla's making upstairs. I can't take hearing her upset like this. That's why I put 2 rolls of duct tape over her mouth. Layla's taped to the wall. I can't take hearing her upset like this. I love her so much. I don't know that I can go back and talk about why I love her so much when I'm putting her through this. I try not to think about how perfect things were in the beginning. When I do that, it solidifies the fact that I'm more likely at fault for how it has all come to an end. I close my eyes and think back to the first night I met her, back when life was easier, when ignorance really was bliss. She was a terrible dancer, I say to the man. It's the first thing I notice about her. Do you want to read? Popcorn Nicole.
That's not how this works. Okay, thank you. Chapter 1. She's a terrible dancer. Long arms she seems to have no idea how to control. Like, okay. What makes it funny is that this is a modern country band. A modern, bland country band. I'm the unofficial 4th member, the last one to join the band. I play bass. Not the kind of stand-up bass people respect. I play electric bass. The one that fades into the background of each song. I don't mind fading into the background though. Maybe that's why I prefer electric bass over everything else.
Oh my god, he's so quirky. He doesn't mind being like on the low.
Now that I remember that he plays the bass, he's Wyatt Shears.
You really want to do that to Wyatt Shears? You want to like literally shit on his name?
Think about Wyatt Shears for the next 7 hours while we record this, so be it. Every show eats away at my soul. A nibble here, a nibble there. I'm afraid if I keep doing this much longer, there won't be anything left of me but a body. I stand in my designated spot on stage and I watch the girl as I play, wondering if she's drunk or high, or if there's a chance she's out there dancing the way she is to poke fun at just how much this band sucks. Whatever the reason is for her flailing around like a dehydrated fish, I'm thankful for it.
Drag her.
It's the most entertaining thing to happen during a show in a while. I even catch myself smiling at one point, something I haven't done in God knows how long. To think I was dreading coming here. Maybe it's the atmosphere, the privacy of the venue mixed with the aftermath of a wedding. Maybe it's the fact that no one is paying us any attention and the 90% of the wedding party has left. Maybe it's the grass in the girl's hair and the green stains all over her dress from the 3 times she's taken a tumble during this song. Or maybe it's the 6-month dry spell I forced myself to endure since breaking up with my ex. He gets no bitches. He gets no bitches.
God.
Maybe it's a combination of all those things that is making this girl my entire focus tonight. It's not surprising because even with this makeup smeared down her cheeks and a couple of her curls matted to her forehead from sweat, she's the prettiest girl out here.
Oh, she make up her ass?
What?
The makeup was rolling down her cheeks.
I hear the girl screaming, "Encore," as I walk to the back of the stage and I put my guitar in the case. I close it in a hurry, hoping to hell I can find her once we all get the instruments loaded in the van. The 4 of us have booked 2 rooms here at the bed and breakfast for the night. It's an 11-hour drive back to Nashville and none of us want to hit that at midnight.
None of them want to hit it at midnight? I find that hard to believe.
The groom approaches Garrett as he's closing the doors to the van and invites us all over for a drink. Normally I decline, but I'm kind of hoping the bad dancer stuck around. She was entertaining.
He's horny.
And I like the fact that she never mouthed a single lyric. I don't know that I could be attracted to a girl who actually likes Garrett's music. I find her in the pool floating on her back. She's dead. Wearing the cream-colored bridesmaid dress with the grass stains all over it.
Oh, so she's drunk as fuck.
She's the only one in the pool, so after I grab a beer, I walk over to the deep end, kick off my shoes, and stick my legs in the water, jeans and all. Oh, what a baddie. From the stage, I thought she was pretty, but from 1 foot in front of her, I see she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Puffy pink lips, a delicate jawline. I'm hoping I might get to run my hand across at some point. Her eyes are as green as the grass that surrounds the pool. I want to slide into that water with her, but my cell phone is in my pocket, and there's a half-full can of beer in my hand.
Colleen Hoover saw a picture of you.
Me?
And put that in the book.
Puffy
You are Layla.
pink lips that she got from
green eyes
from Restylane Kiss jaw, like delicate jawline that is contoured with Fenty soft amber. Green eyes.
Nicole's like been doing this thing where she's like, it's so hard being a girl with green eyes. It's
There's
a rare
not
eye
enough
color.
representation in the media of us. So growing up in songs like Brown Eyed Girl were really, really bad for my self-esteem because I had to grow up hearing like Brown Eyed Girl, and I'm like, what the fuck? What about me? What about Green Eyed Girls?
Green Eyed Girls.
That's how I got into college. I wrote that into my application essay. About,
You didn't write about your absent father?
No, I wrote about how hard it was to grow up with green eyes.
You're right. You're gonna have to edit now.
I don't
like a
need,
filter
like,
over you with green eye. Like that Miley Cyrus, but green eye.
Do you ever watch those YouTube videos of people dying inside? She asks. No. I respond, she's a little out of breath as she works. See, me. She has asthma. She's a little out of breath as she works to keep herself afloat. There's compilations of embarrassing things that happen to people. The camera always zooms in on people's faces at the worst moment. Their expressions make it look like they're dying inside. She wipes water from her eyes with both hands. That's what you looked like up there tonight, like you were dying inside. I don't even remember her looking up at the stage, much less eyeing me long enough to accurately assess how it feels every time I'm forced to play those shitty songs on stage. I'm already dead inside. Died the first night I started playing for the band. Popcorn, Jake.
I nod and take a sip of
You keep going. You keep going.
I nod and take a sip of the beer. It worked. She grinned and slinks underwater for a few seconds. When she comes back up again, she wipes all of her hair out of her face and says, "Do I look like George Washington?"
You want to hit?
Yeah, thanks. She wipes all of her hair out of her face and says, "You got a girlfriend?" "No." "Boyfriend?" "No." "Do you have friends at least?" Who is she? She's like a toddler right to me right now. Like, she's a kid. Maybe she has a list. "Your friends at least?" "Only child." "Shit, you're lonely." Another accurate assessment, although in my case, lonely is a choice. "Who's the most important person in your life?" she asked. "Parents don't count." "Right now?" She nods. "Yes. Right now." "I guess you." She tilts her head, narrowing her eyes. "It's kind of sad." No, I'm gonna make her better. I'm sorry, everyone. She lifts her feet and kicks the wall between my legs, pushing away from me. "I better make this a good night for you then." Her smile is flirtatious. "An invite." I accept her invite by placing my phone on the concrete next to the now empty beer. I take off my shirt and watch her eye me as I slip the rest of the way into the pool. We're at the same level now. And damn it if she didn't just get prettier somehow. We swim around each other in a slow circle, careful not to touch. We're playing Marco Polo. "What's your name?" Leeds Gabriel." That's him tilting his fedora that he wore
left the fedora on into the pool.
"What's your name?" "Layla." She whispers it like it's a secret. It's the perfect name. The only name she could have said that would fit her. I'm convinced of that. This is probably the most normal name Colleen Hoover has ever picked out. "Layla," someone says from behind me. "Open up." I look over my shoulder and the bride is standing behind me, holding something out to Layla. Layla swims over to her, sticks out her tongue, and the bride places a small white pill at the center of it. Oh my god. Layla swallows it. I have no idea what that was, but that was sexy as fuck. She can see I'm transfixed by her mouth.
"Leeds wants one,"
Layla says, reaching out her hand for another pill. The bride hands her another one and walks away. I don't ask what it is. I don't care. I want her so much, I'll be the Romeo to her Juliet and take whatever the hell kind of poison she wants to put on my tongue right now. I don't know what kind of drug she gave me. Probably Molly or some other kind of upper. Because it's fucking kicking in fast. I'm more aware of everything going on in my torso right now than any other part of my body. My heart feels swollen, like there isn't enough room for it. Layla is still floating on her back, but her face is close to my chest. She's right in front of me. If I lean in forward a little, she wouldn't be looking at the sky. She'd be looking up at me. Fuck. This is good shit. I feel good. I feel confident. The water is so calm around us that she's floating on air. Her eyes are closed, but when the top of her head bumps against my chest, she looks up at me. Oh my god. We're not doing anything.
What'd you get? Do you want to do a haul? Quickly, do a haul.
Yeah, come.
I got a turtleneck to wear under my cardigan.
Ooh.
That I brought, like that blue one.
Ooh.
The blue one from Amsterdam.
Oh.
And then this was on sale for $10. I thought it looked.
Wow.
I thought it looked comfortable.
So nice. Wow.
I feel so gaslit.
That's literally not gaslighting, and you're fucking crazy for saying that.
I like it.
You're the one acting weird.
Do you want to read a line, Adam?
Yeah, why don't you read something?
I don't know if I want this on the internet though.
Oh, that's right. You actually have a
Yeah.
really big job.
fuck. Okay.
He actually has a very professional job.
He's a hoot. Where do you find him?
What, him?
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Is he a rescue? I always say adopt, don't shop. Her face upside down from mine, like she's expecting me to do something. So I do. I lean in just enough so that my mouth gently rests against hers. We kiss upside down, her bottom lip between both of mine. Her lips are like a soft explosion, igniting hidden minefields under every inch of my skin. It's weird and fascinating because she's still on her back, floating on top of the water. I dip my tongue into her mouth, and for whatever reason, I don't feel worthy enough to touch her. So I keep my arms where they are. How fucking weird is that? Gripping the pool on either side of me.
I will put my tongue down your throat, and I will kiss you even though you're
But
drunk.
like, it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be like I'm bobbing for apples.
Right.
It's like my heart constricts to the size of a penny and then balloons to the size of a drum with every beat. It isn't beating like it's supposed to. There's no gentle bum 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 anymore. It's a plink and a boom. Plink boom. Plink boom. I can hear Garrett over several others all cheering our kiss on from where they are seated.
And then they all clapped.
Layla glances behind her and flips them off. Let's go.
Like this.
With her thumb out? You think Layla... I think Layla does thumb... Like, yes! She pushes up out of the deep end, 5 feet from the ladder, and has to roll onto the concrete to make it out of the pool. So sexy. It's clumsy and perfect. I follow her, and a few seconds later, we're both running around to the side of the house where it's darker and more private. The grass is both cold and soft beneath my feet, like ice, but melted. Water?
Read the next line.
I guess I would just make it water. Doesn't feel like water. It feels like melted ice. Drugs make things so hard to explain. She flips me onto my back, and then she pulls her dress up to her thighs so she can straddle me. Her thighs suction to my sides because we're both sopping wet. I rest my hands on her hips and soak up the intensity of this high. Do you know why we call this place the Corazon de País? Do you think I pronounced that correctly?
I don't know.
It translates to the heart of the country. She says, there's excitement in her eyes and the voice when she talks. This location, this very property you're laying on, is the literal geographical center of the contiguous United States. Popcorn Nicole.
Maybe it's because I'm very aware of my heartbeat right now, but that doesn't make sense. Why would they call it that? The heart isn't really the center of the body. The stomach is. She laughed her sharp, quick laugh again. True, but the estomago de país doesn't sound as pretty. Fuck. You speak French? Do you speak...
I was literally about to say that.
Do you speak French? Pretty sure that was Spanish. Either way, it was hot. She laughs. I kiss her. We kiss for the next several minutes. We more than kiss. We touch. We move. We moan. We just fucking met. I have to stop. I whisper, unwrapping her legs from around me. What the hell are we on? I can't breathe. I roll onto my back, gasping for air. You mean, what did my sister give you? The bride is your sister? Yeah, her name is Aspen. She's 3 years older than me. Like, no one fucking asked. Like, no one asked.
I know.
Like, she's 3 years older than me. Layla lifts herself up onto her elbow. Why? Do you like it? Yes, I love it. It's intense, right? Fuck yes. Aspen gives it to me every time I drink too much. She leans in until her mouth is against my ear. It's called aspirin. What the hell? When she pulls back, the confusion on my face makes her grin. Did you think you were high? Why else would I be feeling like this?
Oh my god, that is so embarrassing.
I sit up. That wasn't aspirin. She falls onto her back in a fit of laughter, making a cross over her chest. Swear to God, you took an aspirin. She's laughing so hard she has to catch her breath. When she finally does, she sighs and it's delightful. And did I just fucking say delightful? It's delightful. She shakes her head, looking up at me with a soft smile. It's not drugs making me feel like this, Leeds. I'm fucked. Layla doesn't go to the bedroom once we're inside the house. She walks into the grand room, the one with all the books and the baby grand piano. When I pause and turn to look at her, she's staring at the water pooling beneath my feet. The floors are old. She says we should respect them. She pulls her soaking wet dress over her head.
She's literally the opposite of a manic pixie dream girl. Like, she's like very rational.
Pulls her soaking wet dress over her head. And now she's standing in the dimly lit room 5 feet away from me, holding nothing but her bra and panties. They don't match. She's wearing a white bra and green and black checkered panties. And I kind of love that she didn't put much thought into what she wore under her dress. I observe her for a moment. I admire me, like when the last time that I went to a wedding, I'm like in Spanx, like full constricted, like.
Let me unglue myself.
What do you mean she's not in a Skims full body like suit? I observe her for a moment, admiring her curves and the way she doesn't try to hide pieces of herself from me. I look around the room and there's a brown distressed leather couch against the wall next to the piano. I want to throw her on it and lose myself inside of her, but Layla has different plans. You can't really like lose yourself inside of someone.
It'd be pretty hard
that area is pretty like, it's not that big.
I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
It is. My vagina is more like an IKEA showroom. It's intentionally really hard to get through. I've never been nervous while playing Garrett's songs on stage, but this feels different. This is personal, and despite the fact that there's only one person in the audience right now, it feels like the most intense audience I've ever performed for. I fill my lungs with air and slowly release as I begin to play.
You're not going to sing it?
This is a song.
It's literally a song. And he has a British accent, remember?
That night I stopped believing in heaven. I can't believe in God that cruel. Can you? That night I stopped praying on my knees, but I don't pray standing either, do you? Oh, I should do it like how British rappers do it. I've been listening to a lot of...
How can I be homophobic?
My bitch is gay. He wrote that song.
The night that I closed the door and closed the window, I've been sitting in the dark. Are you?
That night I learned happiness is a fairy tale, 1,000 pages read aloud by you. That night I stopped believing in God. You were out, he didn't care. He took you, so I stopped. I just stopped. That night I stopped. I just stopped. When I finished playing the song, I fold my hands in my lap. I'm a little hesitant to turn around and look at her. Layla breaks our kiss. Aspen warned me earlier tonight when she saw me staring at you. She said, promise me you'll stay away from the musicians. They probably have chlamydia.
That's so valid, though.
I laughed. Did you promise her you'd stay away from me? No. I said, it's fine if he has chlamydia. He probably has condoms too. But I also don't have a condom. She separates herself from me and stands up. It's okay. I have one in my room.
Always
She turns and walks towards the door. Keep in mind, regardless that they're on aspirin, she's still drunk. I grab her wet clothes and follow her out of the room and up the stairs. She doesn't exactly invite me to her room, but I can tell she's expecting me to follow her because she's talking as she walks up the steps. It's been a while since I've done this, she says over her shoulder. I only have condoms because they were party favors for the bachelorette party.
Those things don't work. I have terrible news. She's getting chlamydia tonight. They're literally just like a balloon.
Popcorn Jake.
Layla takes our wet clothes out of my hands and walks them to her bathroom. She tosses them into the shower, and then on her way back into her room, she says, you should quit the band. I actually really like Layla as a character. She's very like real for that, for putting the wet clothes in the shower. You ever do that?
My clothes never got wet.
Just say you have a dry pussy. I'm just kidding.
My IKEA pussy is not dry.
She has to be the most unpredictable person I've ever met. See, he's trying so hard to make her not seem rational, and she's just like a perfectly rational human being. She has to be the most unpredictable person I've ever met. Even the simplest sentences catch me off guard. Why? Because you're miserable. She's right. I am. We both make our way to bed. What do you do for a living? I don't have a job. I got fired last week. Okay, yes. I love her for that. She's so honest. Wait, first of all, she has no job and her sister's getting married. And like, she's not like miserable or anything. Like, she's just like totally okay with everything. She's I love this character. I love her so far. I lay on the pillow on my side, looking up at her. My face is near her hip, and it's both odd and sexy being this close to her thigh. I press my lips against it. Why'd you get fired? Okay, see, I feel like he's putting more into this than she is. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like she's just like trying to talk to him. They wouldn't let me off for Aspen's wedding, so I didn't show up to work. Oh, she's such a... Oh my god, I love her. She scoots on the bed and mirrors my position. Your boxers are still wet. We should probably take off the rest of our clothes. She's forward, but I like it.
You're gonna get a UTI. If you have wet clothes, you can get a UTI.
Is that true? Grab her by the waist and pull her on top of me. I placed her so perfectly against me, she gasps. I'm taller than her, so her face doesn't reach mine. But I want to kiss her. She must want to kiss me too. Because she crawls up my body until our mouths connect. There aren't many items of clothing to remove between us as it is, so it only seems like seconds before we're naked under the covers and almost past the point of caring about a condom. Oh god. The man with chlamydia would think that. But I don't know this girl and she doesn't know me, so I wait for her to fumble around the dark room until she finds her purse. Once she retrieves a condom and hands it to me, I reach under the covers and begin putting it on. I think you're right, I say. First of all, he's like, I think you're right. What? Is that him putting it on?
It's this big.
Oh, okay.
It's this big.
Wow.
I think you're right. I think I am gonna quit the job.
No, he's like, I think you're right. He's putting it on with his mouth.
He's so flexible.
Yeah. Oh no, but now when they kiss, she gets chlamydia of the mouth.
Pick and choose your battle.
Honestly, it's like, do you want chlamydia of the mouth or do you want chlamydia of your vagina? I think you're right, I say. About what? I roll on top of her and she spreads her legs apart, fitting me in between them. I should quit the band. She's right. I kiss her neck, then her breast, then my mouth is resting against hers again. I think I'm glad I met you.
He says it how Drew does Harry Styles. I think I'm glad I met you, love.
She pulls back a little, then smiles up at me. You think? You think. She's correcting him, that's why. Or you are. I am very glad I met you. She trails her fingers over my mouth. I'm very glad I met you. We kiss some more. It's full of lazy anticipation, as if we know we have all night, and there's no rush. But I already put the condom on, and she's already guiding me into her. I still take my time with her. So much time. Minutes feel like they matter more when they are spent with her. She's on her stomach, and I'm trailing unworthy fingers up the smooth curve of her spine. She has scoliosis. I reach the base of her neck and then sweep my fingers into her hair and begin caressing the back of her head. I kill for a taco right now. Oh, she is the manic pixie dream girl.
Can't take her anywhere. She's so crazy.
I can have sex with her anywhere. She always wants a taco. I never wanted to be inside a girl's mind more than I want inside Layla's. Her mind doesn't work like other minds work. I told her a few minutes ago she was the best sex I ever had. I expected her to return with the compliment, but she just smiled and said, we always think that when we're in it. But then someone new comes along and we forget how good we thought it was before and the cycle starts all over again. I laugh. I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. And then I thought about what she had said and she was right. I lost my virginity at 15 and I thought that it was the best thing I would ever experience. But then Victoria Jared came along when I was 17 and she was the best sex I'd ever had. Then Sarah Kistner, the girl who snuck into my dorm freshman year, and 2 or 3 after that, and then Sable. Each time the aftermath made me think it was as good as it would get, but maybe they were all equally as good as the one before. None of them compare to Layla. I'm certain of that. As certain as I was all the times before Layla. Are you religious? Her thoughts are as sporadic and intense as her actions. I think that's why I'm so intrigued by her. One minute she's on her back screaming my name as she digs her nails into my shoulders. The next minute she's on her stomach telling me how badly she's craving a taco.
She's so crazy.
She rolls onto her side when my eyes fall to her breast.
He has a sudden urge to breastfeed.
Stop. She would put that in this book. Don't say that.
That's true.
She puts my head against her chest as she rolls onto her back. I lay my head on her chest and cup one of her breasts as she casually fingers pieces of my hair and continues talking. I just get the vibe that she's like not as into him as he is to her. Like, to her, this is like a fun night. And for him, it's like love. Think of it like this, she says. The womb is one existence. Oh no, she's getting all love as one on us. As a fetus, we didn't remember life before the womb. We had no idea if there would be life after the womb. All we knew was the womb. But then we were born. And we left the womb and came into our current realm of existence. Oh no, she is. And now we can't remember being in the womb before this life. We have no idea what comes after this life. And when our current life ends, we will be in a different realm altogether, where we might not remember this realm of existence, just like we don't recall being in the womb. It is different realms, one after the other after the other. Some we know for a fact exist, some we only believe exist. There could be realms of existence we never even entertained the idea of. They could be endless. I don't think we ever really die. Oh no. Her explanation, she's gonna die. Her explanation makes sense. Or maybe I'm just feeling agreeable because my mouth is on her breast.
He's breastfeeding.
I'm so sad.
He's breastfeeding, and she's like, here's what I think happens with the afterlife and reincarnation.
And he's like,
I
grab another condom as I ponder her theory. Another one? It seems more probable to me than the idea of pearly gates or fire and brimstone ever has.
I'm like actually kind of like sad for her because like she's like actually talking about something that really interests her.
And he's like, if you're right, then I like this round best, I say, covering her body with mine. She parts her thighs for me and grins against my lips. Only because you're in it. I shake my head as I push into her. No, I like it best because I'm in you. Chapter 2. Popcorn Nicole.
I stare at her for a few minutes, hoping she doesn't wake up right away. Her hand is drooped across my chest a dead weight as she sleeps. I try to drag out the moment because I know how one-night stands work. I've had my fair share of them. I've snuck out of loads of beds, but I don't want to sneak out of this one. Are you that hot?
Yeah, but I didn't bring anything to wear under these.
Are you really hot?
My legs are just on fire. It's not your fault.
What time is it? She mutters. Her voice doesn't float out of her throat this early in the morning. It's scratchy whisper and somehow even sexier when she's wide awake. 11. She looks up at me, her puffy eyes smeared with mascara. Did you know 11 in the morning is the deadliest time of day? That makes me laugh.
Is that true?
Is that a fact? She nods. I learned that in college. More people die during brunch than any other time of day. She's a hot mess. I love it. You're so strange. Want to take a shower with me? I smell. Fuck yeah. I assume we wouldn't actually shower in the shower, but it was a legitimate invite. Massaging conditioner into her hair, asking her questions I normally wouldn't ask a girl after a one-night stand. There's just so much to ask. There's just so much about her I want to know. Is Aspen your only sibling? Yes. Colleen Hoover couldn't think of a better name for the sister, so she was like, what is the closest name to aspirin possible? I don't really agree with her taste in husbands, but whatever works for her. She looks over her shoulder at me. Do you know what his name is? No, what's his name? Chad Kyle. No way. I whisper, I'm serious. That's his actual name. As if Colleen has any room to speak.
Chad and Kyle are like the most normal thing she's ever put in a book.
I turn off the water and grab my towel as Layla lets Aspen into the bedroom. I can hear every word when Aspen says, did you sleep with the bass player? Their voices carry straight into the bathroom. Who's asking? Layla says, me. I'm asking. In that case, twice. Would have been 3 times if you hadn't interrupted us. That makes me laugh. His band is looking for him. They're leaving. We'll be down in a few minutes. I hear the bedroom door open up again and Aspen says, Mom knows. She overheard one of them saying, he shacked up with the bride's sister. I freeze at that comment. Why didn't I think about that? This is a wedding. Of course her family's here. Shit. Were we loud last night? I'm 22, Layla says. I don't care if Mom knows. I tap my fist against the door frame. Let's stay. I'm casual about it, but the invite is anything but casual. Those 2 words are probably the most serious to ever leave my mouth. Stay where? Here? Yeah, let's see if we can keep the room for another night. I like the look on her face, like she's contemplating the idea, but your band is leaving. You said you have a show tomorrow. We decided last night that I should quit. Oh, I thought it was a suggestion, not a decision. I walk over to her and pull on the end of her towel tucked between her cleavage. It falls to the floor. She's grinning when my mouth meets hers. I feel the way she wraps herself around me that no part of her wants to leave. When she returns my kiss, the dreaded sense of longing that already formed in my chest instantly melts away. Okay, she whispers. He's so H-word. The interview. I've been talking for half an hour straight and the man still hasn't spoken a word. I would continue, but Layla hasn't let up this whole time. I need to make sure she's okay. Or at least as okay as she can be while being held against her will by her own boyfriend. I'm sorry, I said. I'm scooting my chair back. I'll be back in a few minutes. He hits the stop button with an understanding nod. I walk up the stairs again to plead with Layla to trust me long enough to find answers. When I open the door, she's on her knees on the bed, doing her best to slip her hands out of the rope that's connecting her wrist to the bedpost. Layla, I say defeated.
Oh my god, I was so confused for a second, but I understand now.
Yes, me too.
We're in like the future.
Yes. Can you please stop? She yanks her arms in the opposite direction of the bedpost in an attempt to break the rope. I wince. That had to hurt. I walk over to the bed and check her wrists. They're raw from all the time she tried to break free. Her wrists are starting to bleed. She mutters something unintelligible, so I remove the duct tape from her mouth. She sucks in a huge gulp of ale. She sucks in a huge gulp of ale. Please untie me, she pleads. Her eyes are bloodshot and sad. Mascara is smeared down her left cheek. Her butt cheek. Kills me seeing her like this. I don't want this for her, but I have no other choice. At least it feels like I have no other choice. I can't, you know that. Please, she says, it hurts. It won't hurt if you stop trying to free yourself. I adjust the pillow beneath her and give the rope more slack so she can lie down. I know she feels like a prisoner. I guess in a way she is, but I've at least left her legs untied. If she just lies still and stop trying to fight me on this, she'd come out of it just fine. She might even get some much needed rest. Just give me a couple of hours. When I'm finished tying to him, I'll bring you downstairs with me. How long did the 2 of you stay here after you first met, he asks. 3 extra days. Did anything significant happen while you were here? Oh, so they just stayed for an extra 3 days and just fucked.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine, but that room had to smell really bad.
How many condoms did she have?
That room smelled musty. Smelled like when a college boys turn up their AC too high and none of the moisture can escape the room, so it gets really humid and hot in there, and then mold starts growing on the walls.
That was literally my freshman dorm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, the guy was like in...
Oh, yeah, sure, blame the other guy. Did anything significant happen while you were here? Not that I can recall. We stayed in our room most of the time, only came down for meals. It was the middle of the week, so the place was relatively quiet. And then you went back to Tennessee, Layla to Chicago? No. Even after 4 days together, we weren't ready to say goodbye. I invited her to come to stay a week with me in Tennessee, but 1 week turned into 2, 2 turned into 6, and then 8. We didn't want to be apart. How long have you been with her? 8 months now. Have there been any significant changes in your life since you met her besides the obvious? I laugh half-heartedly at that. I'm not even sure what you're referring to when you say besides the obvious. So much has changed. The obvious being everything that's happened in this house, he says. What changed before that? I take another sip of the bourbon, then I finish it off. I'm staring into the bottom of the empty glass, thinking about all of it. The picture I posted of us, the outcome of that, the fear, the recovery, everything was perfect for the first 2 months. And then that question elicits a huge sigh from me. And then Sable happened. Who is Sable? My ex.
She casts a spell.
That witch!
That witch.
Chapter 3. I asked her to come stay a week in Franklin with me, but it's been over 2 months now, and I've had more sex in these 2 months than I thought I'd be capable of in a lifetime. When we aren't fucking, I'm playing songs for her. That is a nightmare. That is an absolute nightmare. It's
That's the Barbie movie. If it were like explicit.
My God. I wanna push you around. Or writing songs or thinking about songs. I feel like my music has a purpose now that she's into it. She believes I'm going to be a somebody. And
on the bass?
Yeah.
He's
Well, if he looks like Wyatt Shears, then he can do anything.
Okay, fine.
She believes I'm going to be a somebody, and that her belief in me is actually making me start to believe it too. It took some twisting of the arm, but 3 weeks ago, she finally convinced me to release a few of the songs I've been sitting on. She posted me playing one of them onto YouTube 2 weeks ago and has almost 10,000 views already. I hate that I like it, but it feels surprisingly good to have someone in my life who makes me feel like my art is worth consuming. Even if she's the only one who consumes it, it'll be enough for me. This kid is just Maddie B Raps.
Don't disgrace the name of Maddie B. Raps.
My bad. I love her. I think. No, I do love her. Everything about her confidence, her eccentricities, her drive, her body, her blowjobs, her spontaneity, that really was written in there.
Her yabos.
Like, sometimes we ad-lib a little bit. We do add to the books. This wasn't.
Well, like, we only do it to make it better. Like,
yeah,
where
that's
we see.
right. Her blowjobs, her big yabos, her big ass titties, her... I love watching her sleep. I love watching her wake up. This whole day has been my favorite day with her. Neither of us turned on our phones when we woke up in the morning. We kept the lights off and the curtains shut, and I had her for both breakfast and lunch. That room smells like up dog.
I think there's something like Colleen Hoover really likes about like the idea of just
not
like
doing
being in a
anything,
room,
quitting
and
your
just
jobs.
fucking all the time.
Wasn't that in the last book?
Yes,
that
like I think it has been in multiple.
they don't leave the house for a few days. They like don't do anything, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That did happen in the last one. They like order Chinese, and she's like, "I stayed for 3 days."
Is that what happened in Verity? Because in Ugly Love, didn't the parents leave and then like they played house forever and they just like sat around all day and
happens
fucked?
in every book. I open Instagram and immediately regret turning on my phone. I haven't looked at it since the picture of us last night. It was the first time I've ever posted a picture with a girl. We were in bed naturally. Layla was asleep on my chest, and I really liked how I felt in that moment, so I held my phone up, snapped a picture of us, and left the caption blank. I've gained almost 1,000 followers since meeting Layla and releasing some of my own music, but that's still only 5,000 people total. Oh, he has more followers than you. How does that make you feel?
I don't like chase numbers, you know, like it doesn't matter to me.
I would assume with only 5,000 followers, there would be less of a reaction to the picture I posted of us. Call me naive, but I honestly didn't think I'd get much of a reaction at all. Most of the comments I'm reading are from people congratulating me, but some of the comments are from other girls who are picking Layla apart. Luckily, I didn't tag her in the photo. I'd hate for her to see what people are saying about her. The more I read through the comments and private messages, I'm tempted to just delete my account altogether. I know if I were ever to get to a point of being able to pay a bill with my music, I'd be thankful for any followers I have. But right now, it's disturbing reading comments like, your girlfriend looks like a slut and you're hotter when you're single. Who the fuck says that when you have like 5,000 followers?
You don't get comments like that? Yeah,
but
I get comments like that all the time.
That's from you. I don't think that people are like bold enough to be mean when it's just 5,000 followers. The internet is fucking brutal. It makes me nervous to leave her here for 3 days by herself. I don't think she's seen the picture yet, so I don't even bother deleting the negative comments. I just delete the photo altogether and then set my phone face down on the nightstand. You sure you're okay staying here alone? I ask her. Popcorn Jake.
I pull away from her. I love that her smile is so wide. She's that lady on TikTok with the really, really big mouth. It's like, we're in love. You're staying here while I'm gone. And I think this means we just officially moved in together. Wow, maybe I should let my parents know. I don't live with them anymore. You haven't been home since your sister got married. I think they're aware. I'm stopping this accent because it's like so hard to do. And she wraps her arms around my neck. This is a lot in one day. We said, I love you. We moved in together and we're Instagram official now.
Love bombing.
She says the last part like a joke, but my stomach drops knowing she saw the picture. You saw that? I can tell by the way her smile fades that she also saw the comments that accompanied the picture. Yeah, don't worry, I deleted it. You did? I didn't mind it. Either way, I don't think I was prepared for people I don't even know to have an opinion about us. You're not real to them. This is just how people are on social media. She kisses me. It's your own fault for being so damn hot, she says with a grin. Literally when we got a divorce, like this is exactly how it was perceived. I'm relieved she doesn't seem to be taking any of it personally. I don't know if I want to post pictures of us together anymore. I don't want them to find your account and start bothering you. Layla laughs. Too late for that. You followed 30 people and I'm one of them. They already found me. I roll off her and sit up on the bed. What do you mean they already found you? It's just been one girl so far, she says. Sonia? Sybil? I can't remember her name. Layla says it so nonchalantly, but I know exactly who she's talking about. Sable.
She could fucking remember. It's not fucking Sonia. I remember that because I would think of a horse.
But this is how she does the next line. She's like, that's it. Sable. I already blocked her though. Since I've known Layla, I've never once lied to her. Never even felt the need to. She's the least judgmental person I've ever met. We dated for a couple months. Figured it out real quick that relationship was a mistake. Layla grins. She finds that amusing. Well, she doesn't think it was a mistake. She thinks I'm the mistake. It took me several weeks to figure out, though probably because I was only paying attention to how much my dick liked her and wasn't aware that the way she felt about me was on a completely different level. That's literally him with this girl. Initially, I thought our meeting was organic, but I found out from Garrett that Sable ran a fan club for me that she started a year before we even met. I confronted her about it, and things got weird after that. I tried to break it off, but she didn't take it very well. At first, it was just incessant phone calls, messages, voicemails, but then she started showing up to shows, demanding I give her another chance. Garrett and the guys started calling her Unstable Sable. We finally had to have security escort her out of the show one night, a couple days before I blocked her on my social media. I also blocked the account she used to run her Leeds Gabriel fan club. The whole thing was so bizarre. She was bizarre. It's people like Sable that make me question whether or not I want to be in the public eye at all. Why am I even trying when I hate everything it entails?
I mean this in the sweetest and nicest way possible.
Me.
Shut the fuck up about being I'm in the public eye when you have 5,000
literally
followers.
Literally me with 3,000.
I don't think I'm in the fucking public eye. The public is not looking at me. He doesn't even have any songs out.
In the beginning, I liked Layla. I was attracted to her, but concern for her didn't accompany those feelings. However, over the last few weeks, I've started to worry about her. Concern might be the only difference between liking someone and loving someone. I debate telling her to be extra careful while I'm gone because now I'm even more apprehensive. I'd like it if she'd never answer my door when I'm not there. I'd really like it if she deleted all of her social media accounts. Oh, he's being so controlling.
I know.
But she's a grown-ass woman, so I don't say any of that.
How old is he? She's 22. Getting dirty 30 vibes from him.
When I was 22, I don't think I was a grown-ass man.
Oh, I did.
You thought you were a grown-ass woman?
At 22?
Really?
Yeah.
You're like
at the
something-year-old
age of
to me.
22, I had already gone through so much. No.
I don't know why I have this pit in my stomach because essentially I'm a nobody right now. One unofficial fan club and 5,000 followers does not make me a somebody.
Okay, thank God.
Okay,
Yeah,
back down to earth.
yeah.
A few comments from some fans online isn't really something that warrants an overprotective boyfriend. Even still, I'm having a security system installed while I'm gone. It'll put my mind at ease.
It's like, fuck, the follower count reached over 5,000.
Bodyguards, cameras, that thing that Edna does in the Incredibles movie where all the lasers come out when somebody's at the front door. Maybe we should get a dog, a protective one, like a German Shepherd. Okay, I know a German Shepherd. He's not very protective. He's like crazy. He'd make me feel better when I have to leave Layla here by herself. I turn on the water in the shower and take off my shirt, but before I unbutton my jeans, there's a knock at the door. I told Garrett I'd meet him at his house. Maybe he got impatient. Uh-oh, I know who it is. I'll get it. I yell out of the bathroom. I really don't want Layla answering the door after I read some of those comments. Not to mention Sable knows where I live. She slept on my bed. I got it, Layla yells back. I'm picking up my shirt and pulling it back over my head when I hear a sound. It's a single shot firecracker. Pop! My blood chills. It's as if my veins would shatter like glass if I move, but I do move. I run. When I reach the bedroom door, I hear the sound again. Another pop. Swing open the door and everything I know and everything I love and everything I live for is in a heap on my living room floor. There's blood pooling. She was actually shot? Oh my God, I thought this was going to be like, happy birthday. There's blood pooling beneath her shoulder, in her hair. I immediately drop to my knees and lift her head. Layla. I whisper. He's like tapping me. Right before feeling a sting in my shoulder. Everything after that is a blur, a nightmare. Everything stops. It just stops. It's the interview. The man is quiet. The whole house is quiet. Too quiet. I need more bourbon. As if he knows this, he stands up and grabs the bottle. He brings it back to the table and slides it over to me. What happened next? I shrug. Take a drink. She survived. Who shot her? Sable? My jaw tense and I nod. Yes, over a fucking Instagram post. My words are short and clipped.
That's you and me. Who shot him? Nicole. Over what? A fucking Instagram post. Wait. Look, hold on. I have to show you something. Last night, Adam and I were on TikTok and it was like all these like, if you think you know her, which one would she pick? And just looking at this, I'll put this on the screen. Which one would I pick?
Oh, the gun. The shower gun.
Shower
That's
gun.
funny. You should always have a gun in your shower. If he had a gun in his shower, point, maybe his girlfriend wouldn't have gotten shot twice.
He was getting in the shower, but
Yeah,
he was
literally.
way too focused on unbuttoning his jeans. This man is always focused on unbuttoning his jeans and never on the
grabbing
shower
the gun.
gun.
Was Sable arrested? No. What happened after you were quiet on set?
There's like a whole, like literally like a home renovation is going on in the background.
Really. What happened after you were shot? I called 911. I tried to keep Layla alive until they arrived. Then we were both taken into surgery. And after that, or tell him what I can remember. It isn't much. I woke up from surgery not knowing if Layla was even alive. I tell him how I've had to spend 3 hours in recovery with no word on her condition. I tell him about the agony of having to call her mother and sister and let them know what had happened. And the 2 hours I spent being interrogated while still not knowing if Layla had survived. I wanted to get her out of Tennessee. Once her doctors gave her the all clear, I thought it would be good to get her away. And I know how much she loves this place. I pause when I say that and then backtrack. Well, how much she used to love it. When did she stop loving it here? I guess the day I brought her back.
Chapter 4. I ate a strand of Layla's hair this morning. Thought crossed my mind that something as weird as eating your girlfriend's hair could be the starting point to even weirder behavior.
Witchcraft.
It could be a precursor to cannibalism, much like harming animals as a child is sometimes a precursor to becoming a serial killer, but eating her hair was nothing more than a slightly creepy last-ditch effort on my part to try and absolve myself from all the guilt. I have OCD and suffer with a lot of guilt, yet I have just never thought about eating someone's hair, and maybe I should have thought of it sooner. I dreamt that swallowing a piece of her hair tethered us together, somehow eliminating any fear that we might someday grow apart because of everything that happened. My mom told me that if you swallow a hair, that you'll throw up. If I randomly would throw up, she would be like, you must have swallowed a hair. It's like, no, I definitely don't have food poisoning. That was 8 hours ago, and it feels like the strand has somehow found its way around my heart and cut off the blood supply. My heart is choking. That'd make a good lyric.
Your mother was right.
I packed very little for this trip. 2 pairs of jeans, some shorts, a few t-shirts, and the engagement ring. I booked this trip because the last 6 months have been horrendous. It has taken a toll on us emotionally and physically. But I'm hoping that going back to the place where Layla and I met will feel like a reset on our lives. I have this notion that if I take us back to the starting line, we'll never cross the finish line. Another potential lyric. Layla's recovery has been a lot more intense than my own. It was touch and go for the entire week. When she was stable, it was still 4 weeks before she was discharged. I blame myself daily for not being more careful, for not fearing Sable's instability all those months before when she refused to stop contacting me. We desperately need this trip. We need the privacy, a break from the outside world. I just want to go back to how it all was in the beginning, just the 2 of us locked up in a bedroom having the best and most random conversations between rounds of sweaty sex. I want a taco. I want a taco. Let's stay in here.
That was some really great conversation they were having. She was like, and what if we're all God? And he was like, let me put the condom on.
Layla pulled her phone out of her purse before shoving the purse beneath the seat in front of her. We need to post a picture of you on the plane, she said, lifting her phone. I smile, but she shakes her head, indicating she doesn't want me to smile. I stop smiling. She snaps a picture of me and then opens it in the editing app like she tries to make his bulge bigger and Facetune.
She's like, isn't it good?
It's like,
Abby Lee Miller.
Abby Lee Miller! I was just thinking that. It's hard not being a little bitter at the idea of fame after what happened to us. Layla never would have been injured if it weren't for social media. She finishes editing the picture and holds it up for me to approve. I always approve them. I don't really care what she posts, to be honest. I nod when I see the picture, but then I moan when I see the hashtags. Oh, he groaned. Sorry, I thought he moaned.
He's like,
hashtag singer. Hashtag musician. Hashtag leads Gabriel. Hashtag model. That's like us hashtagging. Hashtag gay.
Hashtag gay. Hashtag comedy.
On the podcast. Our story made a few headlines and circulated in the Nashville scene, so it gave me a small bump in sales and a huge bump in followers. I'm over 10,000 now, but I can't help but feel like I'm capitalizing off of all her injuries.
Sorry, he's getting a lot of followers for doing absolutely nothing.
I have over 10,000 followers because my girlfriend got shot. Popcorn chicken.
Guys, come along with me while my girlfriend gets shot at my front door. She had 2 full-on panic attacks in the past month alone. This is how they both started. Her touching her scar, her fingers trembling, her eyes full of fear, her breaths labored.
Oh, that's funny to you. That's funny that a woman has trauma.
Do you want to go wait it out in the bathroom, I ask her? She nods, so I grab Layla's hand and help her out of her seat. When we get to the front of the cabin, I lean into the flight attendant. She's having a panic attack. I'm going in with her until she passes. The flight attendant takes one look at Layla, and her expression immediately turns sympathetic. She closes the curtain to block off the view from the bathroom door from the first class cabin. Oh, they're fucking in the bathroom. They want to join the Mile High Club.
She's like, oh.
She's like, oh my god, you're gonna have a panic attack? Why don't you guys go fucking bone in the bathroom and I'll get rid of it, you dirty little sluts. I hold her for another couple minutes until she's no longer shaking. You feeling better? Yes. Good. I run my hand over her hair and kiss the top of her head. We should go sit back down. Everyone on the plane will be talking about the couple who joined the Mile High Club. She doesn't release me. Instead, she brings her mouth close. Oh, they are going to join the Mile High Club. This is actually happening. She brings her mouth to mine and her hand begins to crawl down my chest all the way down to the button on my jeans. All about this button. Why is he always wearing jeans?
He's wearing jeans on a plane.
Would you never do that?
No, I blow. And it hurts.
You blow?
bloat.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And I do blow on a plane.
You blew up a plane? I know she thinks this is probably some fantasy of mine. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't, but not right now. After she just came down from a panic attack, it feels wrong. I take her face in my hands. Not here, okay? We'll be fast. I kiss her. Not right now. Tonight, I back away from her. She waves me out and shakes her head. What?
This is me absolutely joking because I don't want to get in trouble. But what are the odds that Colleen Hoover probably wrote in the first original edition that they did join the Mile High Club right after she had a panic attack, and the backlash was so intense that was like, why the fuck would you make them have sex right after she had a panic attack? And she's like, you guys are right. And then this is the edited edition because it seems like every single book has an edited edition. Everyone's like, he's such a good man because the bar is so low.
Yeah. I want to use the bathroom first, she says with a weak voice. I close the door. I walk back to my seat feeling like a complete asshole for turning her down. But it would have made me an even bigger asshole if I had fucked her 60 seconds after she had a panic attack. Look at her virtue signaling. She was like, guys, I learned. That's not something I want to get used to. I can't be the band-aid for her wounds. I need to be what helps them heal. How far away are we? It's the first thing she says since we got in the rental car. She fell asleep before we were even out of the airport terminal. About 20 minutes. She stretches her legs and arms out in a moaning sound that makes me shift in my seat. He's getting H-word.
He's getting H-word when she's sleepy tired.
He crashes the car because he's so distracted. Oh my god, ugly love. I've been regretting not bending her over the airplane sink. The old leads would have taken her up on that offer. Twice, probably. The wind is blowing her hair in her face, so I push it back with my hands. When I do this, I feel something in the strands of her hair. It's my spit. They're clumped together, sticky between my fingers. I lean in and inspect her head. I nibble, nibble, nibble. Even though she tries to pull away, her hair is so dark, I can see the blood, but when I pull my fingers back, the tips of them are red. You're bleeding. Am I? She presses her fingers against her head, right over the incision. The gas nozzle clicks, so I release her and pull out of the gas tank. Let me park the car and I'll come inside and help you clean it up. After I park the car, I search the store shelves until I find a small first aid kit. I meet...
Cliff. A small...
I know.
What's a small first aid kit?
It's a healing journey. I meet Layla in the women's restroom with it. It is a one-person stall, so I lock the door to the bathroom behind me. She faces me, leaning against the sink. I take the cotton swab and some peroxide out of the kit and clean the dried blood out of her hair first, then around the incision. Did you hit your head on something? No. It's pretty bad. It doesn't hurt. It'll be fine. I'm fine. I finish cleaning it up. Then I put some antiseptic ointment on it. I don't press her again about why it's bleeding. She'll never admit that she does it herself, but I've seen her picking at it.
This bitch has dermatillomania.
What is that?
What I have. She picks at her skin.
I tell you, that's just more proof that this character is based on you. I clean up the mess and close the first aid kit while Layla uses the restroom. She moves to the sink and washes her hands. I lean against the bathroom door, watching her in the mirror. What if I'm part of the problem? Sorry, if only more men would think this. What if my hesitation to treat her exactly how I treated her before is holding her back somehow? We make love a lot.
We make love a lot.
We make love a lot. But it's different than it was before. In those first couple of months together, we were a combination of everything that makes sex good. I was sweet and gentle with her, but also reckless and rough. Sometimes all at once. I didn't treat her like she was fragile. I treated her like she was unbreakable. Maybe that's where I've gone wrong. I need to treat her like the person she is trying to become again. She's watching me from the mirror as I set the first aid kit next to her on the sink. Our eyes stay locked together as my hand punches up her dress and then slips slowly between her thighs. I can see the roll of her throat when I hook my finger around her panties and yank them down. I place my right hand on the back of her neck and push forward while I unbutton my jeans. These fucking jeans and their buttons. Just leave it unbuttoned if you're going to be doing that so much. Then for the first time in 6 months, I'm not gentle with her at all. Chapter 5.
He is taking a note out of Kim Petras' book. He said, treat me like a slut, little dirty bitch I like to fuck. Wait, aren't they in like a gas station bathroom or something?
Do you think it's like disgusting in there? Oh,
Yeah,
no wonder he has
probably.
chlamydia. Layla takes a step over the threshold, and as soon as she does, she shudders. She lifts a hand to the wall, like she's trying to steady herself. You okay? She's literally about to pass the fuck out. She nods. Yeah, she closes her eyes for a few seconds. It's cold in here, and my head hurts. I kind of want to take a nap. But it's not cold. It's actually kind of stuffy, but her arms are covered in goosebumps. Pop or Nicole?
I leave the grand room after failing to find the thermostat. I glance down the hallway and see Layla peeking into a room. She closes the door and then continues walking and opens the door to a second room. She seems confused, as if she can't remember where our room was. She starts to close that door. It's upstairs, Layla. She startles when I say that, spinning around. I know. She points to the room when she's about to walk past and heads inside. I just need to use the restroom first. She slips inside the bathroom and closes the door. She just used the restroom 20 minutes ago at the gas station. That's what happens when you have a UTI. Whatever it is, I'm not here because I want a vacation. I'm here because I want time to focus on my music and I want Layla to find peace. I feel like this is the one and only place that can give us that. The seclusion would be perfect for us. She feels safe. I spin around at the sound of Layla screaming. I immediately run across the room and
She feels safe.
I immediately run across the room and toward the bathroom when I hear the glass shattering. Layla. I swing open the door and she looks at me with two fearful eyes. I immediately reach out for her hand because there's blood on her knuckles. Shards of mirror line the bottom of the sink. I glance up and the bathroom mirror is shattered. It looks like someone put a fist right in the center of it. What happened? Layla shakes her head. She looks from the broken mirror to all the glass in the sink. I don't know. I was just washing my hands and the mirror shattered. There's an obvious indentation in the mirror as if someone punched it, but I can't imagine why Layla would do that. Maybe it was already broken before she started washing her hands and the movement jarred the glass out of place. I'll grab the first aid kit out of the car. She's in the kitchen when I return from the van, and just like earlier, I care for her wounds. I don't ask her questions. She seems shaken up. Her hands are trembling. When I'm finished, take the first aid kit with me and grab one of our suitcases. I'll email the realtor about the mirror. I tell her that could have done some serious damage. She grabs the other suitcase and follows me upstairs. I can tell she's rattled from the incident. I have to stop treating her like she's incapable of caring for herself, though. She's capable, she's strong, she's incredible, and I'm going to be the one to remind her that because she seems to have forgotten. And if I just fuck her like I used to, then maybe she'll be as strong as she once was.
I have the most healing fuck on the planet.
Just keep in mind that in this time that they're together, they were together for a month or two before the accident, and then it's been 6 months since the accident. So they haven't even been together that long.
Get over it.
Get over what, the accident?
Yeah, like you were shot, whatever. Like, come on, let's move on.
If you got shot, you'd be like, yes!
I'd be like, how can I use this to make everybody feel sorry for me? And then anytime anybody argued with me, I'd be like, well, I was shot and almost died.
Chapter 6. She's upstairs unpacking. I make sure to unpack my shoes myself and then put them in the closet so she won't see the ring. I came downstairs to start dinner. I want to try and start this trip out right, so I'm making pasta. Oh, I can't say this. Popcorn Jake.
It's pasta fazool. That's how you say it.
Is that how you pronounce it?
It's
Fazool?
Pasta fazool.
That's pasta fazool?
That's how they say it at Olive Garden.
Why isn't it Razul then?
What's razool?
Like ravioli. It's spelled the same.
Fagioli? You think it's fagioli?
It seems more reasonable than fazool or whatever you said.
I think that's how they pronounce it. Fazool.
Pasta fagioli. It's literally
You're right.
Every now and then I'll glance at her and are you making fun of how I wheeze?
I thought I was going to be the one to read. I forgot who it was. Go ahead.
Every now and then I'll glance at her and I'm taken back to the day we first spent here. Every single second with her felt like an awakening, like I'd never really opened my eyes until she came along. I was blind, but now I see. That's how Layla made me feel. It was like someone let all the air back into my life when I had no idea I was even suffocating. She has the inhaler fuck. What I wouldn't give to go back to that feeling before we were unfairly robbed of it. We were comfortable in my house in Franklin. I walk over to where Layla is asleep on the bed and I touch her hair, pushing it gently behind her ear. They had to shave a section of her hair during the surgery, so she wears her hair parted now to cover up the regrowth. I brush her hair away and look at the scar. I'm thankful for it because it gave me content and it got me 10,000 Instagram followers. I know she hates it. She does everything she can to cover it up, but sometimes I look at it while she's asleep because it's a reminder of what I almost lost. Layla flinches a little, so I pull my hand away. Just the smell of something burning enters the room. I look towards the doorway, confused because there's no way the soup could already be burning. It's been less than 10 minutes since I turned the gas stove top on. It's so loud. I feel it in my chest. I rush down the rest of the stairs, and when I get to the kitchen, soup is everywhere. I scan the stove, the floor, the walls. I wave the smoke out of my face and try to figure out what needs saving first. There's no fire though, just a bunch of smoke and a huge ass mess. I'm staring at it all in shock when Layla runs down the stairs. She pauses in the entryway to the kitchen and takes in the mess. What happened? I walk to the stove to turn off the burner, and when I reach for the knob, the burner isn't even on. It's been switched to the off position. My arm falls down to the side. I look at the burner, then look at the pan on the other side of the kitchen. Why is the sink on? Layla asks. There's a stream of water running from the faucet. I don't remember leaving the water on. I walk over to it and turn it off and notice something at the bottom of the sink, a burnt rag. The same rag that I came in. The same rag I wiped my hands on right before running upstairs. The rag obviously caught fire.
My cum rag.
Because it's burnt to a crisp. My cum rag ended up in the sink. How is the water on? Who turned off the stove? Who set my cum rag on fire? Who knocked over the pan of soup? I immediately walk to the front door, but it's locked from the inside. Layla follows me. What are you doing? I know there's a back door, but if someone knocked the pan off the stove as I was descending the stairs, I would have seen them heading back towards the back door, but there's no other exit in the kitchen. I walk back to the kitchen and look at the window. It's also locked from the inside. Leads, you're scaring me. I shake my head. It's fine, Layla. I say reassuringly. I don't want to worry her. If I act like I can't explain this, it'll cause unnecessary concern. I caught the cum rag on fire, accidentally knocked the soup off the stove trying to put it out. I rub my hands up her arms. I'm sorry. I'll clean it up. The cum and the mess. I'll help you. I let her. I'd rather just be in the same room because I'm not sure what the fuck just happened. What do you think is happening?
Sable snuck into the house, lit his cum rag on fire, not after rubbing it all over her body. The interview. The tape ends, so the man ejects it, flips it over, and presses record again. I wonder if he knows how much easier using his cell phone would be. He's probably a conspiracy theorist who questions the government to the point that he refuses to even carry a phone. I want to see the stove. The man says, oh, this is what the interview's about. Maybe this is the crime that they're trying to figure out. He picks up the tape recorder and walks back into the kitchen. They stay seated on the couch for a moment, wondering if asking him to come here was a mistake. Most sane people would call me crazy after hearing my story, and here I am, trusting that this man won't leak my story straight into the hands of all those sane people. Did anything else strike you as strange from that first night? Not like what happened with the stove. Oh, it's a ghost investigation. But something out of the ordinary did happen. Several things happened over the course of the next couple of days that left me questioning whether or not I was going crazy. What kind of things? Things that would have sent sent anyone else out the front door without a second thought. But he stuck around because he loves the attention. Chapter 7. Layla picks up her fork and looks at it. She looks down at her bowl of pasta again. It smells so good.
At her fagioli.
She says good in a way that makes it sound like a moan. Oh, good. She actually sniffs the pasta. Freak. Leans forward and closes her eyes, inhaling the scent of the sauce. Maybe this is her newest trick to dropping 15 pounds. She keeps talking about smelling food instead of eating it. Layla grips her fork and twists it in the bowl. She takes the biggest bite I've ever seen her take. She groans when it's in her mouth. Oh my god, it's so good. She takes another bite, but before she finishes swallowing, she's shoveling yet another bite into her mouth. I want more, she says with a mouthful. She grabs her wine glass and brings it to her mouth while I take the bowl to the stove and refill it with more pasta. Is it pasta or is it pasta fazool?
Pasta fagioli.
Is a soup.
Yeah.
At Olive Garden.
No, it says that that's a soup too.
Then why is she like twisting her fork in it? You need to have pasta fazool.
No, Colleen Hoover's from Texas. They don't have pasta fagioli there.
She practically rips it from my hands when I sit back down at the table. She eats the entire bowl in just a few bites. I started laughing because I'm so relieved she's finally eating, but also because I've never seen anyone so animated while they eat. She closes her eyes and groans, leaning forward. She props up her elbows on the table, moves her hand from her stomach to her forehead. I take a bite of my own pasta right when she opens her eyes. She looks straight down into her empty bowl and makes a horrific face like she regrets every carb she just ate. She covers her mouth with her hand. Leads, my food is gone. Do you want more? She looks up at me. The whites of her eyes are more prominent than I've ever seen them. It's gone. She's dense. She's so dense for this.
I just called a traumatic brain injury victim dense.
Not all of it. You can have the rest if you want it. She looks horrified when I say that, as if I'm insulting her. She looks at the fork still in her hand and studies it as if she doesn't recognize it's a fork. Then she drops it, tosses it really, and slides it across the table, hitting my bowl. As she scoots back and stands up. Layla, what's wrong? She shakes her head. Nothing, I'm fine. She says, just ate too fast, a little nauseous. She turns and leaves the kitchen and rushes upstairs. I follow her. She's behaving like another panic attack might be on the horizon. When I get to the bedroom, she's rifling through the dresser drawers, muttering, where is it?
My gun!
Where is it?
If this character's based off of me.
She wants a gun. What are you looking for? My medicine, of course. I reach into the top drawer of the dresser and pull out her bottle of pills. I open them and hand her one, but she looks like she wants to take the bottle from me and down every single one of them. I have no idea what has her so spooked, but as soon as she has the pill, she goes into the bathroom and turns on the faucet. It's aspirin. She places the pill on her tongue and takes a sip straight from the sink. She tilts her head back to swallow it. It reminds me of the night in the pool when Aspen gave her medicine.
Aspen gave her aspirin.
Layla seems a bit calmer now that she's taken the Xanax, so I try to distract her from her own anxiety by making conversation. Remember when I thought your sister gave me drugs? Layla swings her head in my direction. Why would I remember Aspen giving you drugs? As soon as she says that, I can see the regret in her eyes. She drops her head between her shoulders and grips the sink. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. You want to go to bed? I whisper. She nods. I slip my hands up her back and ease her out of her shirt. Somewhere between the bathroom door and the bed, we start to kiss. It's become our nightly routine. She stresses out. I soothe her. We make love.
She takes Xanax. I give her healing dick. I just don't know if they ever have sex when she's sober, and that makes me worried.
I don't know. It didn't sound like when they were holed up for 6 days that they were like drunk the whole time though. Remember when they were musty? They didn't even go out to get alcohol.
When they were musty.
I'm staring at the alarm clock when I feel Layla's side of the bed shift. I hear her stand up and walk across the hardwood floor. At first, I think maybe she's heading to the bathroom, but the sound of her walking ceases and she doesn't move for a while. I can feel that she's not on the bed though, so I turn over to see what she's doing. There's a stand-up mirror on the wall a few feet away from the bed. Layla is staring at herself. It's dark here, other than the little light from the moon shining through the window, so I'm not sure what she's trying to see. She turns from left to right, inspecting herself in the mirror. It's strange how long she stares at herself. I wait a couple of minutes, thinking she'll come back to bed, but she doesn't. She steps over to the mirror, lifting a hand to the glass. She traces her finger over the mirror as if she's outlining her body. Layla?
Do you want to read this part, Adam? This one's fine. This one doesn't say anything naughty.
Adam, read this.
Her head snaps back in my direction. Her eyes are wide with embarrassment, like she got caught doing something she shouldn't have been doing. She rushes back to the bed and slips under the covers with her back to me. Go back to sleep, she says in a whisper. I'm fine.
You need to whisper. Why didn't you whisper it?
Go back to sleep. Good for him, I say. And then before I can even think about the words coming out of my mouth, I ask her, do you believe in ghosts? That's random. I know, I just don't remember you ever talking about ghosts. I'm kind of indifferent to the idea of them, she says. I don't not believe in them, but I don't know that I've ever had an experience that would make me believe in them. She pauses for a moment and then says, why, do you? No, I say, because I don't. I should just buy this place. We could stay here forever, plant a garden, get a dog and some cats, maybe some chickens. We could reopen it as a bed and breakfast and watch people get married in the backyard every Saturday. I minus out the Microsoft Word app and open Google. I type in the realtor's website and search for the house. I have a listing saved in my favorites because I looked at it almost daily since I found out it was for sale. It's hard not to imagine me and Layla building a life here. I click on the email icon to the realtor. I have some questions about the property and I'd like her to meet us here at the house so Layla can be a part of the decision. As soon as I finish typing the email, I move the cursor to send, but before I click it, my laptop slams shut right in front of my hands. What the fuck? I toss my laptop away from me. It's a gut instinct to throw it, even though it pains me as I watch it crash against the hardwood floor. But what the fuck was that? I crawl into my bed, my heart's still pounding. I pull the covers over my head like a scared toddler trying to shut out the monsters. Find a Best Buy tomorrow, figuring out what's wrong with my laptop while I'm there. I'll buy cameras, some kind of security system that can be connected to an app on my phone. From this Point forward, anything weird that happens in this house will be recorded. Okay, so there's a ghost. But here's my conspiracy theory. It's not a fucking ghost. It's Sable. I don't know about the laptop slamming shut thing. That was weird. Maybe he just has loose hinges on his laptop. That Sable's torturing him. Because that was like literally not even resolved. Did she go to prison?
Find out.
Popcorn Nicole.
Chapter 8. After I get the pot of coffee started, I open the refrigerator, look up for the creamer, but I immediately pause and I catch something out of the corner of my eye. My laptop is sitting on the kitchen table. I stare at it, afraid to move. Did I dream that last night? When the computer power is on, the Word document I wrote, the lyrics in last night is pulled up. I specifically remember minimizing this document before I opened Google, which means Layla definitely used my computer after I fell asleep. A sinking feeling settles in my stomach. She looked at my search history. As I realized Layla read the few lyrics I've put into this document, does she assume they're about her? Basically, he like wrote in there like, I'm not in love with you as much as I used to be. I go to minimize the document, but before
Who else would that be about?
I go to minimize the document, but before I do, I notice in the left-hand corner at the bottom, it says there are 2 pages. I only wrote 4 sentences. I didn't write anything else that would have created another page in this document. Oh, as if accidents can't happen. I scroll down until I get to something on the second page. I'm certain I didn't write it. It's just 5 words, but it's enough to make my blood run cold. I'm sorry I scared you. The interview.
It's not a fucking ghost.
Why did you buy a security system? The man says. Why didn't you just leave? I pick at a chipped fingernail. Chipped fingernail? His nail polish is chipped. His acrylic is chipping. His gel polish is chipping. I have no idea. Maybe because it was the first thing to happen to me in a while. I actually felt. What do you mean by that? I was numb inside. Had been for a while, but things that were happening in the house were fascinating as they were inexplicable. I didn't leave because in some twisted sense, I think I was enjoying it. I don't feel threatened. I feel sympathetic. That's usually not the reaction people have in these situations. I know. It's why I reached out to you though. It isn't because I feel threatened. It's because I want answers. Did the security system help you find any? Not at first, but eventually, yeah. Chapter 9. I put one security camera in the kitchen and the other one on a bookshelf in the grand room. The cameras are connected to an app on my phone, so anytime there's movement, I get a notification.
Smart.
Watching the videos recorded on the app is an invasion of her privacy. I just don't want to tell her I have access to footage because I don't want her to worry unnecessarily. I also don't want her to feel like I'm spying on her, but in a way I am. I set the cameras up as a way to catch her in the act because who else am I going to catch? A ghost that I don't believe in? An intruder that can somehow bypass deadbolts? I fell asleep around 2 in the morning, so I set the video to play around that time. I remained seated on the couch half covered with a blanket and I watched the footage closely, fast forwarding every few minutes. At 3:20 in the morning, a shadow appears in the doorway into the grand room. Layla isn't anywhere in the frame, but I can tell it's her shadow. A few seconds later, she walks slowly into the grand room. She stares down at me as I'm sleeping, and then she covers me with a blanket. It was Layla. I'm getting inside my own head. Now I'm forcing myself to assume things are happening without some explanation behind them. I move my fingers to stop the video, but my finger hovers over the screen because something Layla does on the video catches my attention. As she covered me up, her eyes move straight to the security camera in the grand room. I watch the video with a lump in my throat. Layla peers at the camera for a good 15 seconds before moving toward it. She walks across the room with a curious expression on her face and then stops right in front of the camera. She doesn't pick it up. She doesn't even touch it. She just stares into it as if she wants me to see her. At approximately 4:29 in the morning, the camera view changes abruptly and then the video goes black. I pause the video to look at the security camera perched on one of the bookshelves. It's pointed towards the wall now. I immediately stand up and walk over to the camera. I adjust it so that it's pointing at the grand room again. There's no way this camera would have turned on its own. I watched the video no less than 15 times in an attempt to figure out how the camera would just turn itself, but it can't. And there was no one in the grand room at that point other than me. I began pacing the room. I can't explain that. No one can explain that. And if I were to show it to someone, I'd be accused of faking the video. Maybe because the video is a fake? Is that possible? Maybe the camera was made to move on its own? How does the camera move by itself? How does the stovetop burner turn on by itself? How does a cum rag move from the stove to the sink? How does a laptop type messages to itself
slugs.
and move from one room to another? The slugs are moving it. I can feel the certainty in my beliefs being chipped away as I make my own post in the forum, the Reddit forum. I title it Skeptic.
Not him being a QAnoner.
Then I write, I don't believe in ghosts. Not even a little, but things have happened that my skeptic self can't explain.
They haven't even like looked into it any further. He immediately is like, ghost. He just saw his fucking girlfriend like basically possessed walk through the kitchen, and then obviously she moved the camera.
Appliances turn off by themselves, objects move themselves, my laptop slammed shut on my hands, the hinges are loose. My initial thought is that my girlfriend is pranking me, but the timelines and her placement in the house don't add up with things that have happened. I'm not sure what I'm expecting you guys to say. I guess I just want another skeptic to explain these things away for me. But how many things have to happen before they can no longer be explained?
Really? I feel like not enough has happened to warrant a ghost.
When I get to the grand room, I sit at the piano, but I'm really not in the mood to work on my music tonight. I set my laptop on top of the piano with the intention of checking my email, but I don't. I go straight back into the forum I posted this morning and start reading the replies in my thread. Why is the place for sale? You should ask the previous owners why they left. That comment piques my curiosity. This place wasn't for sale when we were here the first time, and I remember Layla saying something about how Aspen had to book a year in advance in order to secure the venue. If they were booking out that far in advance, they wouldn't have been hurting for business. Why wouldn't they shut it down and put it up for sale so suddenly? Continue scrolling through the comments. Make sure Layla isn't anywhere near me when I whisper, "Is someone here?" Nothing happens. No one responds. That's because ghosts don't fucking exist. Leeds. I just remembered his name is Leeds. Jesus Christ, I mutter. Clemmy, I can't. Jesus Christ, I mutter. I'm now on the same playing field as the crazies in the forum. I stand up and stretch my arms over my head. I look around the room waiting for another few seconds as if someone is actually going to respond to that question. I finally shake my head at how absurd my thoughts have been the last few days. I walk towards the door and grip the handle, and then an unexpected sound forces me to pause in my tracks. Popcorn Jake.
One of the piano keys just played. It was so loud I recognized exactly which key it was that made the noise. I closed my eyes. That did not just happen. The app shows me standing up in front of the piano, stretching. I keep my eyes on the footage of the piano. As soon as I reach for the door handle, middle C on the piano is pressed by nothing. The key just played itself. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. There's no way that it can be explained. Do that again, I say, walking closer to the piano. A few seconds pass and the same key plays itself again. I take a quick step back. My knees feel like they're about to give out. Fuck. I bend over, staring at the piano. I take in a slow breath. Who are you? I ask, staring at the piano, my back pressed to the door in case I need a quick escape. I wait for an answer, but I realize the question like that can't be answered with the stroke of a piano key. I hesitate before finally walking to the piano. I look behind it, beneath it, inside of it. There's no wires, no setups that would allow someone to be doing this. Press a different key. The D is played this time. Almost immediately. I cover my mouth with my hand and mutter, "Holy shit," against my palm. I have to be dreaming. That's the only explanation. Press the A key. The A makes a sound.
He doesn't even say please.
I don't know what is happening, but I completely suppress the skeptic in me, and I just go with the instinct this time. I have questions. I say, press middle C for yes, press D for no. A, if you don't know the answers. They're playing multiple choice quiz or whatever. Middle C presses slightly, which means yes. My voice comes out a little shaky when I ask, "Are you dangerous?" I don't know why I asked that. Any dangerous entity would sure deny they're dangerous. The D key is pressed for no. Are you a ghost? I don't know. Are you dead? I don't know. Do you know me? No. Can you show yourself to me? No. Because you don't want to? No. Because you don't know how to? Yes. Pull a book off of one of those shelves, I say. A hacked security camera won't be able to pull that off. I stare patiently at the bookshelf in front of me. 10 very quiet and still seconds go by. Then the book I'm focused on slides out of the shelf and falls onto the floor with a thud. I look at the book in complete disbelief. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out of it. I pace the room for a few minutes. I think about everything that's happened up to this point, and I think maybe I'm numb in disbelief. Do you have a name? Yes. What is it? Nothing happens. No keys are pressed. I realize the question can't be answered using one of the piano keys. I started working on a way that words can be spelled using the piano keys when I hear a noise. I look over at my laptop, which is sitting on the piano. It is open. My Word document pulls up. The letters are being typed into the Word document. Willow. I think I left my consciousness in this house. I take a quick step back from the laptop. I'm extremely uneasy now. I stare at the computer for so long, the screen goes dark. I'm sorry. He's open in a Word document. At this point in time, do you think that they're like shareable, that you can like that like multiple people can
Stable's sitting there
it's like Stable's like anonymous platypus or whatever on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stare at the computer for so long, the screen goes dark. Then my laptop shuts all by itself. No wires attached, no explanation. This is insane. Good fucking night. I leave the room, and when I get up to the bedroom, I open a drawer where Layla keeps all her medicine. She has 3 prescriptions. One is for her anxiety, one is to help her sleep, and one is pain medication. I take one of each. The interview. The recorder is still going when he says, "Did anything else happen that night?" I open my mouth to say no, but both of us are looking up at the ceiling. As soon as we hear a crash, I leave the kitchen and run upstairs. Layla is still tied to the bed, but the lamp on the nightstand has been knocked over. She's looking at me calmly. "Let me go or I'll break something up." I shake my head. I can't. She lifts her leg and kicks the nightstand. It scoots a foot across the floor, and then she kicks again, knocking it over. "Help! Help me!" She knows someone is downstairs. Even though she knows someone is in the house, she has no idea he isn't here to help her escape. He's not here to help you, Layla. He's here to help get us answers. I don't want answers. I want to leave. I've seen her upset since all of this started, but I'm not sure she's been this upset. Yeah, she's chained to a fucking bed. Part of me just wants to cut her loose and let her go, but if I do that, that will only mean trouble for me. She goes straight to the police, and what would my excuses be? A ghost made me do it?
So why do you think she's tied up?
The ghost convinced him that she's bad energy. Does she know why I'm here? No. Does she know anything at all? A little, but she thinks it's all related to her head injury. The memory loss, she doesn't know it has anything to do with her. What does she think about you keeping her locked inside this house? She thinks I'm a monster. Why don't you just let her leave? It's such a simple question to have so many complicated answers, because maybe she's right. Maybe I'm a monster. Did you speak to Willow again that day? Chad and Aspen ended up showing up around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't even try to communicate with Willow. I tried to forget it had happened. Willow made that impossible. How so? She joined us for dinner. Oh, you know what? I forgot to call my glam squad for this video.
I didn't.
Clearly. Do you want to read her?
That's
10?
not how you asked me.
Oh, please, princess. Please read.
Okay, fine. Chapter 10. You guys have any plans for your anniversary, I ask? I'm trying to keep up with the conversation, pretend I'm mentally involved in this dinner, but my mind hasn't been on dinner at all. Just practicing our baby making on this road trip, Chad says, grinning in Aspen's direction. We are not. I'm still on birth control, Aspen says. That's why I said practicing. Chad says. He looks at me. We took a detour to Hutchinson on our way here today. Ever been to the Salt Mine Museum? I take a long swig of my beer and then say, no, we had sex in the mine. Chad says, shooting Aspen a grin. I look at Layla. She's cringing. Aspen grows and says, please stop talking about our sex life. It's been good, Layla says, seeming relieved by the change of subject. Having the pool to ourselves is my favorite part, even though I'll probably be blistering if I don't stay inside. It's crazy the place is up for sale now. How cool would it be to own a bed and breakfast, Aspen says. Sounds like a lot of work, Layla says. I sink a little at that reply, wondering if Layla really feels that way now. She cuts a tiny bite of her pizza. It's a homemade pizza. Aspen eats it. Layla used to make it, but she hasn't cooked since her surgery. The crust is thick and the toppings are an inch high, so it's hard to eat with your hands. Chad's the only one at the table not eating with a fork. This is DiGiorno. Once again, somebody's stiffening in a Colleen Hoover book, staring at Layla because she just stiffened in her seat. Sometimes when that happens, it's because of her anxiety. I stay focused on her, watching her every movement, hoping she's not experiencing an onset of a panic attack, but something about how she's holding herself now is concerning me. She sets down her fork and picks up her slice of pizza with her hands. She takes a huge bite of it, then another. She holds the pizza with her right hand while she picks up her wine glass and sips from it. So good, she says, her voice on the edge of a moan, like she hasn't eaten in days. It catches everyone's attention. She shoves the rest of the pizza into her mouth. Aspen looks at Layla like she was looking at Chad earlier with a little bit of a disgust. Layla lifts out of her chair, reaches towards the pan of pizza, picking up another slice with her hand. She plops back down at her seat and stuffs as much of the pizza as in her mouth as she can. She's doing that thing again, eating like her life depends on it. Aspen just continues to stare at her in horror as she shovels half of the slice of pizza in her mouth. Gross. Use your fork, Aspen says. Layla pauses and looks at Aspen and then gives her attention to me. Her eyes are suddenly apologetic, embarrassed. She takes another quick, huge bite and then downs her entire glass of wine in one go. As soon as Layla sets down the glass, she hesitates. Then her hand moves to her forehead and she groans, squeezing her eyes shut. Oh God, my head hurts. She massages her forehead and then lowers her hand, opens her eyes, and screams. I don't feel well, she says, turning to exit the kitchen. I follow her up the stairs and as soon as she gets to her room, she goes straight and fumbles with the bottle of pills. Her hands are unsteady and she spills some of the pills when she gets the lid open. I sit down next to her and she's curled into a fetal position in the center of the mattress. I pull the covers over her, running my hands soothing through her hair. What happened down there? Nothing, I just don't feel good. You think you ate too fast? She rolls over and pulls the covers up to her chin. I didn't eat, she says. Her words came out clipped, full of anger and confusion. I want to ask her what she means by that, but part of me already knows. She's having blackouts. Silent seizures, maybe? She had one before in the hospital, but that was just one, so they decided not to put her on medication for it. I should call her neurologist tomorrow.
She's possessed.
She okay?
That's what they're
Aspen
getting
asked. I don't even try to cover for Layla because I'm confused and full of questions. I don't know. She said her head hurts. I'm sure she'll have migraines for the rest of her life, Aspen says. Side effect of getting shot in the head, unfortunately. Which, this is the first time that they mentioned that she actually got shot in the head. They said that there was blood.
There was injury. She had an injury on her head. I guess this is the first time that they've explicitly said it's like not because she fell, but because she was shot. I just think that that's like so intense. Like I know you can survive a gunshot to the head, but that's just like very rare. Exactly. No wonder she got possessed. Her mind has been weakened.
I shake Chad until he opens his eyes, and then I pull on his arm and say, "Let's go to bed, buddy." He groans. I don't want to go to bed with you, Leeds.
They're gonna fuck.
He tries to push me away from him, but then I wrap my arms over his shoulders. I'm taking you to your wife's bed. He stops pushing me at that comment. He lifts his head and looks around the room until he finds Aspen on the other side of him. Am I too drunk to fuck? Aspen nods. Yeah, babe. Way too drunk. Maybe
Aspen was saying this. I thought Leeds was.
No, Leeds was taking him to bed, to his wife's bed.
Oh my God.
What? He was just helping. And then Chad or whatever his name is was like, am I too drunk to fuck? Colleen Hoover had to put that in as like damage control. She's like, look, I know you're not supposed to have sex when you're too drunk. I grab my laptop and go to the kitchen. I open the same Word document that has the words, I'm sorry I scared you in, and the name Willow. I've completely suspended my belief for a few seconds and type out a question. Was that you? I push the laptop a few inches away from me and watch it intently. Almost immediately, letters appear upon the screen. Yes. I feel those 3 letters like punches in my gut, my back, my jaw. I think I finally accepted that this house came with a spirit of some kind, but believing that spirit can take over Layla's body is an entirely new thing to process. This is real. It's fucking real. And I can't deny it anymore. Popcorn Jake.
You know what this is giving? Yellow Jackets. Like in the way that like I'm feeling like something's gonna come around and it's all gonna be rationalized and not actually like supernatural. I need answers to every single question I never knew I had. I want you to do it again, I type, to be able to have a real conversation with you. I close the laptop, not giving whoever I'm speaking to the chance to refuse my request, but I also don't move. If this is really happening, I want them to prove their existence in some other way. I want to see a change in Layla with my own 2 eyes while I know exactly what's happening. I don't go upstairs. I want whoever this is to come to me. So I remain seated in the kitchen for several minutes. My heart just beats harder and harder as I wait. I don't hear a door open, but I do hear footsteps as they begin to descend the stairs. It's a slow descent with each step cracking beneath the weight of whoever's approaching the kitchen. I don't look behind me as whoever it is enters the room. My gaze remains transfixed. G-A-Y-S. Remain transfixed. On the table in front of me. I smell Layla's perfume before I see her. So I know it isn't Aspen or Chad. Chills crawl up my spine and spread out over my shoulders and arms as she walks around me. Oh my God, he's been fucking Willow the ghost instead of Layla this whole whole time because she's been possessed every time. I still don't look at her. It's my first time I've truly felt afraid since this began because I don't know what to expect. Is it Layla? Did she come downstairs with a strangely impeccable timing, or is Layla asleep somewhere in there? I finally make eye contact with her when she pulls out a chair to sit down. It's Layla, but it isn't. There's something different about her, as if she's staring back at me like she's just as unfamiliar with me as I am with her. She looks scared, or maybe it's curiosity rather than fear. She pulls the leg up, places a bare foot on the chair, wrapping her arms around her knee. She lays her head on her knee and just stares at me. Layla. My voice is a whisper, but not because I'm trying to be quiet, because I don't have much of a voice right now, because there's more trepidation caught in my throat than air. She shakes her head. Willow. She nods. I lean forward over the table and blow out a deep breath, massaging my forehead with my hand. What the fuck? She leans against the kitchen counter and downs the juice. She sighs, pressing the glass against her cheek for a moment. When she's finished with it, her eyes are closed as if she's savoring the way the juice tastes on her tongue. This is so good. She washes the glass and then puts it back in the cabinet. Do you do that a lot? Do what? She sits back down on the table, pulling her leg up again. Steal your groceries? I nod. Do I need a body to do that? I don't like using Layla's body unless I have to. It's a little weird. A little? Wait, what? He's like, he's like talking to the ghost through Layla. Mm-hmm. She has dissociative identity disorder.
Keep reading.
A little. My normal and your normal aren't the same. What's your normal? She looks up at the ceiling and thought, nothing. What do you mean? My normal is nothing. I just exist, but I don't exist. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Are you a ghost? I don't know. How long have you been here? I don't know. Time is weird. It's like it doesn't count for me. She traces an old scratch on the table with her finger. I once stared at the clock on the wall in the living room for 8 calendar days just to see how long I could stare at the wall. You don't sleep? Nope, don't sleep, but I'm always tired. Don't eat, but I'm always hungry. I can't drink, but I'm always thirsty. I'm starting to think maybe this is hell because there is nothing worse than being internally hungry. This is surreal. She's in Layla's body right now, but she's so different from the Layla I've been with all day. Are there others like you? She shakes her head. Not in this house. I'm alone. Does it feel different being in her body? She nods. Yes, it's really confusing. There are memories that don't belong to me, feelings that aren't mine, but the thing is, when I'm not inside of her, I feel very little and I have no memories at all. So I kind of like being inside of her, even though it feels wrong, like I'm not supposed to do this. Okay, so like Colleen has once again made the woman of the story just like
have no personality
or
again. Background or anything.
She says weird things like I need tacos
right after sex. In the way that Leeds and Layla met, how the fuck did they fall in love? Because they don't know anything about each other. There's nothing interesting about Leeds. If anything, everything is a turnoff. Oh, he's a musician?
Yeah, red flag.
And he wants to build his following on Instagram? This is the most terrifying thing that a man could possibly do.
You have her memories? She nods. Yes, but I'm trying not to be intrusive. She's like, oh no, but like I wouldn't want to cross any weird boundaries.
I believe in autonomy.
Yeah. Can you remember things that happened between me and Layla? She looks down at her can of soda. I see her cheeks flush a little with embarrassment. It makes me wonder what memories caused that feeling for her. You met her here. I nod to her, knowing that memory is right. She smiles. She loves you. You can feel that? Yes, she loves you a lot. But she's also worried. About what? That you don't love her as much as she loves you. What? That's not the vibe I got at all. Will she remember this conversation? You taking over her? She shakes her head. No, she didn't remember the times I ate her food. She just thinks she's having memory issues. Her eyes narrow. Something bad happened to her. It affected her a lot. Yeah, it did. A door opens upstairs and steals my attention. We both look at the entryway to the kitchen. Shit, I forgot Aspen and Chad were still here. Sorry, this would be so awkward to walk in on. Can you leave her body? That's probably her sister. Willow shakes her head. There's a new look of unease about her. I don't know if that's a good idea. Layla will freak out if I leave her body right now. She will be in the kitchen when she wakes up and will have no memory of getting down here. I'm not quite sure if Colleen would go all the way on like a ghost thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling like genuinely Colleen has written a story about somebody with dissociative identity disorder or because like of traumatic brain injury, like a shot to the head. Why would this ghost be here now and would not have been here back when they first met? You know what I mean? But what has changed? Traumatic brain injury. You know, and I'm not saying that like that would immediately cause somebody to get DID, but I don't know, like things like that could.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay. I'm not mad. I'd actually like to talk to you again if it doesn't affect Layla. I don't want her to find out about you yet. I'm not sure she'll understand it. Do you understand it? I shake my head. Hell no. I feel as if I'm going to wake up tomorrow and laugh at how insane this dream was. Willow looks at the bed and then back at me. I can't slip out of her without her being asleep first. I don't want to get her scared. I nod. It's fine. Just I'll sit in the chair until you're asleep. You sure? Yeah, but I do want to talk to you again. Maybe tomorrow night. She nods and doesn't say anything else. I watch her for half an hour and then slowly Layla's body relaxes. I saw nothing that would prove Willow is no longer inside her, but I can tell she isn't. She looks like the same Layla I tucked into the same bed earlier tonight. I look around the room knowing Willow can probably still hear me. I whisper good night and then I crawl into bed with Layla. Popcorn, Nicole.
The interview. The man pauses the tape recorder. She sounds hungry. I nod. I told her I'd bring her downstairs. She wants to meet you. Layla does? Yes. Is that okay? What was the reason you gave her for my being here? her. I haven't really told her much at all yet. She knows something strange is going on with her behavior. I told her you might have answers. The man nods. Bring her down then. Pour myself another sip of bourbon before going back upstairs to untire. This man is pissed drunk. How much bourbon is he gonna drink?
Well, he's trying to cope with the fact that he literally is holding someone hostage in his bedroom.
Well, it's just rude that he's like not offering any to like the man.
The interviewer man?
Yeah. When I walk into the bedroom, she's trying to reach the knot on the rope but can't. I made sure of that when I tied it, but I admire her tenacity. She hears the door shut, so she swings her head in my direction. 20 minutes? It's been an hour. So who is this guy? She asks, following me out to the bathroom. I found him on the internet. She pauses as I open the bedroom door. You're kidding, right? What am I supposed to do, Layla? Call up the police and ask them to help? You brought in an internet quack to solve this. I'm doing my best. Grasping for straws now. It's all I can do. She walks into the kitchen and pauses at the sight of him. She looks from man to me, back to the man. You're a detective? Sort of, he says. He reaches his hand out to shake hers. I'm Richard. Randall. I correct him. He looks down at his shirt. Oh yeah, Randall. Name's Randall. That was a bad idea. You don't even know your own name? It's Randall Richard, he says, covering up his lie. Layla says, I'd rather stand. She turns attention back to me. Did you do a background check on this guy before you brought him here? I don't lie to her. I just shake my head. This is brilliant. She walks towards the exit of the kitchen. Just great. She pauses and looks at me, and it's the first time she's ever looked at me. Hatred in her eyes. I'm leaving. If you try to stop me this time, I will scream until someone hears me or until I die. I don't care which comes first. I'm not the one who stopped you from trying to leave last time, Layla. I stay where I am as she brushes past me, but I stop as she crosses the foyer and heads towards the front door. She gets to the top lock, unbolted before she stops, pauses, and then backs away from the door. She turns around to face me, and I can tell Layla isn't the one looking back at me right now. It's Willow. She's really upset, Willow says. Her eyes are full of concern. I think you need to tie her up again. I nod and walk up the stairs with Willow and into the bedroom. She sits back down the bed, and I notice a tear fall down from her cheek as she lifts her hands up to me. Don't feel bad, I say, even though I know she does. We both do. I can't help it. I hate that we're doing this to her. She thinks that you're evil and that she's going crazy. They're outside the door. I can tell.
Is he gonna fuck?
Are you guys outside the door?
Who is she talking to? I didn't even hear anything.
I thought Adam and Brad were here.
Are you okay?
This is Willow.
Here's my prediction. He's gonna fuck willingly like Willow. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he is gonna do that.
I didn't say that.
You went affirmative. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is Willow making you do this? The man asks as I take a seat. I'm not sure how to answer that. She doesn't want us to leave. She's made that clear, but I also haven't fought back very hard. I don't know. I think this is a mutual effort, unfortunately. Why won't either of you let Layla leave? I don't answer that because the answer makes me feel like a monster. The man leans forward, tilting his head. Are you in love with her? Of course. She's only tied up because I want to keep an eye on her, but I can't do that if she leaves. I wasn't talking about Layla. My eyes fall to the table and I realize what he's insinuating. I can feel the heat in my chest spread to my neck, my cheeks. No, it's not like that. Not like what? It's not, I don't know. I care about Willow, but I'm in love with Layla. You've developed a relationship with Willow, enough of one that you would put Layla at risk in order to help Willow. I don't feel like Layla is at risk. You certainly aren't keeping her out of harm's way by forcing her to stay here, but I'm also not doing it out of lack of concern for her. I'm getting agitated as line of questioning. Look, it doesn't matter why I'm choosing to keep Layla here. She's seen too much. That's a good enough reason alone. I wave my hand towards him. Ask me something else. Rolls his eyes a little. All right, how often do you and Willow use Layla's body without her knowledge? Not as much as we did first. How often did it happen in the beginning? A lot.
Oh my god. Wow, that was the fastest any of my musings and like conspiracies have been confirmed.
Chapter 11. A message appears on my phone. I'm very good with technology. I can't help but smile at the message. This is surreal. It is so much bigger than anything I've ever imagined would happen in the span of my lifetime. The idea of marriage, having kids, building a music career, it all seems like filler now. What if I've become some sort of sixth sense? This guy, his ego is so fucking big.
Yeah.
What if I'm supposed to do something with that? What if I'm meant to be something besides a musician? The keys on my laptop are being pressed again. She's typing something. I know things like how to cook, how to use a computer, how to use a cell phone, but I have no idea how I know those things. I don't use my phone to respond to her. I just speak out loud since Layla is still asleep upstairs. I wonder if that could be a clue to how recently you died. It would assume if your death happened decades ago, you'd speak differently or act differently. You seem so sure that I used to be alive. What if I've just always been here? Maybe you have, and you've just picked up knowledge along the way. You watch television sometimes, right? Yes. There are things you could try and do to pinpoint a timeline. Is that important to you? Knowing if I was once alive? Is it not important to you? I don't know. Not really, I guess. Why would that matter? If you knew what your life was like, maybe we could figure out why you're stuck here. I don't necessarily feel stuck. But are you happy? No, I already told you what it's like here. You and Layla showing up is the most exciting thing to happen to me. What if I'm here to help you? Do you even want help figuring this out? That's pretty egocentric of you to assume I'm the only one who needs help. What if I'm here to help you? Why'd you let me sleep so late? Layla asks. My eyes dart up and she's sitting in the doorway of the kitchen, stretching her arms above her head. She yawns as she heads for the coffee pot. It's not that late, I say, slowly closing the lid to my laptop. Layla pours the coffee into a mug. It's 11 o'clock, the deadliest time of day, I say teasingly. She eyes me curiously. It's what? She has both hands wrapped around her coffee mug now that she sips from it. I walk over to her and kiss her on the forehead. 11 in the morning, the deadliest time of the day, I say, repeating one of the many facts she told me. Her eyes squint in confusion. We weird. You think it would be at nighttime. Chapter 12. I was starving by the time we got there, but Layla wanted to shop first, so we went to a few boutiques before going to the restaurant. It was a smart choice on her part because she had 4 margaritas with 1 taco. 1 margarita, I'm gonna open my legs. 2 margaritas, I'm gonna give him some head. 3 margaritas, I'm gonna open up my puss.
4 margaritas,
I'm gonna put it in my tush.
5 margaritas.
I don't know what happened.
I'm gonna have sex with a ghost and eat tacos.
She had 4 margaritas with just 1 taco, so she was barely able to stand without assistance by the end of the dinner. She wasn't too drunk not to question why I wanted to order tacos to go. I told her it was because she didn't eat enough at dinner, so I wanted to take food home in case she got hungry later. And I said that, she smiled and leaned across the table to kiss me, but knocked over one of the margarita glasses, went crashing to the floor, sloppy bitch, sloppy drunk. She was so embarrassed. She was apologizing to everyone in the restaurant while they cleaned up her mess. She even apologized to the glass she broke. That's when I knew she exceeded her limit. It was only an hour's drive back, but Layla had to stop twice to pee because of all the margaritas. I kept talking to her in an attempt to keep her awake. It was fairly early in the evening on our drive back to Lebanon, so I didn't want her sleeping in the car and then staying up late.
He is so gross for this.
Oh, I know.
He's so gross.
Oh, I
His
know.
mistress is her lifeless body and a ghost possessing it. I'm sorry.
I felt a twinge of guilt for that, being excited for her to go to sleep at the house so Willow could take over. I have so many questions for Willow, and I just want to go inside, but Layla has other plans. She places her hand on my chest and pushes me onto my back. As soon as the last sliver of sun disappears, she leans over me, dropping her hand to the button on my jeans. Just as she lowers her mouth to mine, the sour taste of lime still lingers on her tongue. I kiss her back because that's what I'm supposed to want to do. I'm supposed to crave her, to want her tongue in my mouth, my hands on her body, to push myself inside her. But it's not what I want right now. All I feel right now is overwhelming impatience.
He's like, go to fucking sleep,
Yeah,
bitch.
I don't know how to separate my desires now. I came here so Layla and I could regain our footing, but I have a feeling our worlds are going to grow further apart the longer we stay here. I'm becoming too fascinated with the world we aren't in, and that's going to affect us somehow. I don't know how yet, but I know what I'm doing is wrong. Allowing Willow to use Layla's body is a terrible form of deception. Yet it's a deception I find myself justifying every time I start to question it. Layla's hand slips between my jeans and my stomach. I can feel her deflate when she grips me and finds that I'm not nearly as into this as she is right now. You okay? She asked.
He's like, I like you better when you're possessed.
This normally doesn't happen. When she wants me, all she has to do is kiss me, and that's enough to make me hard. But right now, it's not enough. My mind is everywhere. But here, and I can tell her eyes that she feels it's somehow a reflection of how I feel about her. It's not. I'm just preoccupied. I bring my hand up to her cheek. I'm good. I say, brushing my thumb over her mouth. It's just a rock or something digging into my back. I roll her over, so I'm looking down at her now. Maybe we can finish this later tonight in our bed. She smiles. Or right now in our bed. She pushes me off her and then stands up. She's wobbly when she's on her feet, so I stand up and steady her. She brings a hand to her forehead. Wow, I'm so drunk. She's always drunk. She's always drunk, and he's always fucking sober.
It's either she's drunk or she's possessed, and there's no in between.
Right. How can she possibly give consent when she's too weak to even stand straight? She's too wobbly, blah, 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 blah.
But also he's like having sex with her body, like when she's not even
That
like
hasn't
aware of
happened
it.
yet.
Okay, but like it's literally going to happen.
Hasn't happened yet.
This would not be a Colleen Hoover book without some ghost fucking.
But let's talk about what has happened right now. She doesn't forget, though. She starts kissing me as soon as we're inside the house. She tucks her hands into my jeans and tugs me towards the grand room. Let's just do it on the couch. I pause, wondering where Willow is right now. It feels weird knowing she can see this. I don't want to fuck Layla in the grand room. I don't want to fuck Layla at all right now. It feels weird. Knowing someone else is in the house with us. Layla is loud during sex when she thinks we're alone. And yes, technically we're alone, but we're not. Our vacation here isn't over, though, and I can't avoid having sex with her for the remainder of our trip. She'll know something is up. She'll take it personal, and the last thing I want is for her to start feeling like I made her feel in the airplane bathroom. Popcorn Jake.
Let's go upstairs, I say, pulling her away from the door to the grand room and toward the staircase. She pouts. But then lets me take her hand. She holds onto the railing all the way up the stairs. I hold onto her because I don't want her to fall. When we get to the bathroom, I close the door, confident that Willow remained downstairs. Layla takes off her jeans and kicks them toward the bed. She pulls off her skirt, but gets caught up in it and almost falls. To help her out of her shirt, she's laughing when I toss it to the floor. That's when Layla gets my full attention. She's in a good mood. She's laughing. She's drunk and carefree in this moment. It's very rare that Layla lets loose like this anymore. I can count on one hand times I've seen her giggle since her surgery. She gasps as I spin her around and bend her over the mattress. Her gasp is followed by a giggle. And my God, I love that sound so much. I don't even remove her panties. I just pull them aside and then shove myself into her like I'm afraid this feeling will pass if I don't rush it. She moans, it's so loud. Is he hitting it from the back? He bends her over, unless she's bent like this. He bent her over the mattress. He's hitting it from the back. In the bottle.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's going in the butthole, Jake.
Okay, so see, like, I've never done that with a woman.
That
So,
doesn't
like, there's a
necessarily-
lot of questions that I have, right? She moans. It's loud, and I don't want her to be loud tonight. I reach around and cover her mouth with my hand as I fuck her. All the noise she makes remains stifled against the palm of my hand. I don't make a single noise when I come. He's just like... And then when I roll her onto her back and reach between her legs, I kiss her the whole time I'm touching her. Willow may be in the back of my mind, but that means she's still in my mind. And for whatever reason, I don't want her hearing this right now. We are finished. I fall on top of her, breathing heavily. Layla is running her fingernails down my back, but my eyes are closed, my face pressed into the mattress. I can hear the shower kick on in the bathroom, and I groan. Showers wake her up even more when she's drunk. It's like they breathe new life into her. She's probably going to emerge from the shower and ask to binge watch an entire Netflix series in one go. It could be hours before she falls asleep now. Oh my God, he is a terrible, terrible person. I'm so sorry. I button my jeans and walk to the dresser. I study her prescription bottles, reading the names to see which one she normally takes to help her sleep. I open the lid to the Ambien. That's gonna knock her out. I shake one into my hand and then put the bottle back on the dresser. I go downstairs to make Layla a glass of wine. Wine mixed with margaritas will make her sleepier. The sleeping pill will exacerbate that. What the fuck? He's like basically drugging her.
He is drugging her.
Also, if she wakes up from this Ambien sleep, then I do believe that there is a ghost. I'm sorry, because like I don't think you're waking up. Even your dissociative identity or whatever, I don't think it's waking up from an Ambien sleep. It's not like she doesn't take them on her own every night anyway. I'm just accelerating the process. I use the back of a spoon to crush the pill up on the counter. Oh my God, he's like really drugging her.
Yeah.
Oh my
Keep in mind,
God.
she's already drunk, giving more alcohol. And Ambien's so dangerous. When I was having severe sleeping problems, my doctors were like, the last thing we want to do is give you Ambien, because Ambien will make you go online and buy things in the middle of the night.
Really?
They were like, you will go online shopping.
Actually though, really?
Yes.
You specifically or anyone?
Anyone.
I wanted to go on Ambien so bad.
I have a friend whose dad got put on Ambien and literally stood in front of the pool. And someone had to someone noticed and
So it
come.
like exacerbates sleepwalking?
Yeah.
Maybe that's
And
what-
you have no recollection of it at all.
Maybe that's what's happening with her then. So yeah, wait, more proof for this not being supernatural if she does wake up from this. Sorry. I walk out of the kitchen, but I don't make it far. The glass is knocked from my grip and shatters against the kitchen floor several feet away from me. I look at my empty hand, and then I look at the droplets of red wine as they stain the white cabinets on their descent to the floor. The wine is everywhere. I just stand still, completely shocked, insanely regretful. The glass was knocked out of my hand with enough force to send it across the kitchen. There was only one explanation as to why that happened. Willow saw what I was doing, and it obviously upset her. You know what? Thank God for Willow, if she is an actual ghost. Maybe she is not as terrible as I think.
She's an ally!
Yeah, she's like, don't fucking drug her, you piece of shit. The severity of what I was about to do finally catches up to me, and I look up at the ceiling and drag my hands down my face. What was I thinking? Layla yawns against my chest and pulls back. I'm so tired, she says. I think I drank too much. I'm gonna go to bed. Me too, I say. She leaves my t-shirt on and crawls under the covers. I change out of my jeans. Again, wearing jeans. You put those jeans back on after they fucked, just saying. Pulling on a pair of sweatpants. I normally sleep in boxers, but I don't know if Willow is going to show up tonight, and I want to be prepared if she does.
He's like, I want to be wearing gray sweatpants so that she can see my dick print.
Yeah, literally. I was like, you might as well just wear the boxers. Also, I will say, I think this is the first one that we've read where the entire book is
in his point of view.
Like the boys'
It
perspective. Yeah. November 9, wasn't that in
It was back and
both,
forth,
right?
yeah.
That's dangerous, Leeds. She was drunk. And what if she would have taken another pill on top of what you were already giving her?
I forgot that his name was Leeds.
I know, right? It's like every time I see that, I'm like, who is she talking to? I lean forward, running a hand through my hair. I grip the back of my neck and blow out a breath. I know, I wasn't even thinking. It was like I was acting on impulse. If your need to speak with me makes you act on impulse like that, I'm not sure it's such a good idea we do this anymore. She's like, I will remain a ghost. I don't think her body can handle anything stronger than that right now.
Her body couldn't even handle anything stronger yet. They still had sex.
Wait, who's saying that? Is that
Willow in Layla's body.
is saying that about her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, she needs water.
I refill her water and then assemble the tacos. When I place them in front of her, her eyes are practically shimmering. She picks up one of the tacos and takes a bite. I don't know how Willow would know about that. Did he tell her about that?
Tell her about what?
When Willow is in Layla's body, did he tell her, like, did we miss a part where he told her that he did that he almost drugged her?
No, she saw and knocked the glass out of his hands.
Okay, so that's now it's more evidence for Willow to be actually a ghost.
Yes.
Okay, which is really surprising. I'm serious because I did not think Colleen had it in her. Can we go swimming? Willow asks. I'm caught off guard by her question. You want to go outside?
Like she's
okay,
a dog.
Mother Gothel.
Wanna go outside? Wanna go outside?
You want to go outside? I thought you didn't leave the house. I never said that, she says. I said I've never left the property. The idea of it makes me nervous. I've been wishing I could go swimming for as long as I can remember. I open the third dresser drawer and take out a pair of swim trunks for myself. Layla brought 2 bathing suits, especially as we swum. She hasn't worn either of them. Which one do you want? Red or black? I don't care what Willow says. I hand her the black one. It's not as revealing as the red one. Not that it would matter. She doesn't have anything I haven't seen before or touched, but it does matter. She's not Layla. So it doesn't feel like her body is something I should look at in the same way I do when Willow isn't occupying it. Why are you going swimming with the ghost possessing your...
I low-key kind of think this is a kink.
Ghost possession and like sex with ghosts?
Not like ghost swimming, but like her body being used without her being aware of it.
That is absolutely a kink. I don't know if it's in like the ghost way. I know.
No, I know.
Like fucking a dead body is real.
This appeal of sexiness of this girl's body is being used without her knowledge and like against her consent.
I think you're correct. And I think Colleen does a lot of like underlying, I don't know why she knows so much about kinks, but I
She's
feel
gonna
like
do inflation porn.
Yeah, and then you know who's gonna be really happy?
The breastfeeding.
You're gonna be really happy?
The breastfeeding kink in the last one.
When she comes back up, she's closer to me. She regards my shoulder with curiosity, reaching out to touch it. She runs her finger over the scar from the wound I was left with 6 months ago. Is this where you got shot? Yes. It feels odd her touching my scar. Layla has never touched it, not once. Every time we make love, she deliberately runs her hands around it, near it, but never touches it. I've always wondered if it brings bad memories for her. Who shot you? Sable, the same girl who shot Layla. I lift her hand and bring it to the scar on Layla's head. Feel that? Willow touches Layla's scars with her fingertips, running her fingers back and forth over it. Yours feels healed. Hers doesn't. She messes with hers a lot. I say, why? I don't know. You're the one inside her. You tell me. She stares at me for several seconds. I think maybe it's because she's sifting through Layla's memories. Willow swims back to the ledge and rests against it. She drops her chin to her arms and looks out over the backyard. I swim next to her and do the same. Oh wait, this is very like the first scene in the book where they're swimming together. Ooh, this is weird. Ooh, come on. Colleen did something good here. Like the parallel, like she has some literary like devices that she uses and stuff. It's nice to see that there's writing and it's not just like trying to shock people all the time. Like Colleen takes time to write things, you know?
We're slowly becoming like Colleen. That's not true. We're not becoming
not
Colleen
Colleen
apologists, but
you will never catch me reading a full Colleen Hoover book. I still haven't. So I watch her, but she doesn't look at me. I'm not sure what she saw in Layla's head or if she saw anything at all, but her quietness stirs up an uneasiness inside of me. She leaves her cheek on her arm as she looks at me. She fell in love with you in this pool. Did she? That's not what I got from the first scene. I take a long shower, not because I'm trying to avoid Willow, but because I need time to clear my head. This whole thing feels wrong, but how does one properly interact with a ghost? It's not like there's a handbook or people who could tell me if what I'm doing is morally corrupt. Who would I ask? A psychiatrist would tell me I'm schizophrenic. A doctor would send me to the psychiatrist. My mother would tell me the stress from all that's happened is getting to my head and she'd beg me to move back home. Popcorn, Nicole.
I have a notification in the top right corner of my screen. I open the private message in the forum and I have one unread message from the forum member, Uncover Ink. I click on it. Did you ever communicate with your ghost? I don't respond to this message. I'm not sure anyone would even believe me at this point. I hit delete and my inbox is empty again, but then I get a ping and a box pops up in the left-hand corner of my screen. It's from the same username. I've been waiting for an update. Your post has me intrigued. The message is live, sent just now in the chat box. I move my mouse over the X to minimize it, but I don't minimize it. I'm anonymous in this forum, so why would it hurt to talk to this guy? I type, let's just say I'm no longer a skeptic. So you've communicated? Yes. Are you still there at the house or did you leave? I'm still here. Is there a reason you chose to stay? Most people would have left if they were in your situation. She doesn't seem dangerous. Hopefully, they usually aren't. I stare at that sentence for a beat. This person hasn't hesitated at all while chatting with me. What if whoever this is has had an experience like mine? I type out another question. She has no memory of her life. I don't know how to help her. I'm not even sure she wants help. Ghosts have no capacity to hold specific memories, only feelings, so that's not unusual. But her lack of desire for answers could be an indicator that she might be a fairly new spirit. It takes a toll after a while. They're usually more than ready to move on after the longer they've been around. It's not a fun place to be. I would like to help your ghost find answers. It's what I do.
Ghost Whisperer. He's talking to Jennifer Love Hewitt. Have you ever watched that show?
No.
So good.
No, she's the Long Island medium.
Oh my God, he's talking to the Long Island. He's like, I'm sensing a ghost and it has no memory.
Someone died here.
There's a woman.
I'm sensing she
You're
really
using her
loves
body to
tacos.
talk to the ghost. Oh,
she
yes.
fucking loves tacos.
Yes. Does that mean anything to anyone here?
I think the ghost is H word.
Yes, it's me. It's my ghost.
Is anybody here sexually attracted to their ghost more than they are to their partner? Who here wants to do S with their ghost?
Do S.
Who here wants to bend their ghost over a mattress and hit it from the back? Anybody?
Who here skinny dipped with their ghost?
Who here's ghost saved a cum rag
from burning on the gas stove.
Oh, I'm getting the cum rag was very used. It was heavily used. Still half the auditorium has their hands up right now. We're like, oh man.
Okay. Chapter 13. It's the first time I'm not able to tell who is who. Did Willow wake up as Layla? I quietly observe her from the doorway. Would Willow ever pretend to be Layla to trick me? I immediately feel bad for even thinking that. Willow is protective of Layla. She knocked the wine glass out of my hand last night. I doubt she'd do anything deceptive now that I know about her. Then
Okay,
what
so
do
he
you...
just like decides to trust the ghost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool,
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 Yeah. Then what do you want to do today? I ask. S. You really need some new social media content, she says. We haven't posted anything since the picture on the plane. I can take some sexy pictures of you in the rain. That might make a really great album cover. That actually sounds like a nightmare. Layla can see on my face that I'm not in the mood to pose for pictures.
Why don't we try to be normal people? He's like, where the fuck is the ghost?
Take your Ambien, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sleepy. Does
She's
anybody
like-
want to go to sleep right now?
She's like-
he puts on his like little nightcap and like a little like
Yeah.
sleepy time tea and the little nightgown and goes, I would just love to go to sleep right now. And she's like, it's 3 p.m. Layla maybe got 4 hours of sleep last night. Combine that with the 3-hour photo shoot, a hangover, and very little food today. And I have no idea how she held out until 8 o'clock before going upstairs to crash. I'm sorry. I mean this with the most love and care. And I mean this in the nicest way
She's drunk
possible.
again.
Why are you taking a 3-hour photo shoot with your 5,000 Instagram followers?
It takes like 5 seconds to take,
take a
shitty.
photo.
I've taken
Take a
photos
shitty photo in the
5
rain.
minutes.
Right.
Like nice ones where people are like, that looks like an album
I've
cover.
done professional photo shoots that have always been less than an hour and a half.
Bitch, it took us 10 minutes to set up a phone on a fucking pressure cooker in the middle of the street.
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
take our divorce pictures. Like,
Absolutely.
this isn't, you're not like a star. Come on. And also, you're literally going insane looking at a ghost.
What was today all about? With the pictures and the uncharacteristically vain photos, the entire time Layla was forcing me to post today, I wondered where Willow was, if she was watching or not. I was hoping she wasn't. Nothing. I just don't want to talk about the compromise I made with Layla, and I especially don't want to talk about embarrassing fact that every time Layla posts shirtless pictures of me, I get twice as many downloads on my music. A shirtless selfie means that you are taking it yourself. Not that someone is taking it for you. Right.
Colleen doesn't know that.
Get with it. Get
Come
with
on,
it.
Colleen.
Are you like a model or something? Willow's voice is playful, but I still don't feel like talking about it. I'd almost rather dive into Layla's thoughts just so I don't have to explain it to her. Here's this thing, social media. I know what social media is, she says. Of course you do. Anyway, Layla is working to monetize my platform. So you're an influencer. I lean back in my seat, perplexed. How do you even know what that is? I watch TV. I know a lot of things. Are you famous? No. But do you want to be? The microwave timer goes off. Willow grabs her plate and walks over to the table. Layla is hoping my music career takes off, so I humor her. Give her something to focus on. What if she's right? What if you do become famous? Willow says. That's my fear. She waves her fork in the air after taking a bite. Is that how you can afford to stay here? Money from social media? No, but I only have 3 songs out, but I have money, an inheritance.
Nepo baby.
Shut up!
Nepo baby.
Another song. I look down at the piano keys and try to remember how the song begins. I haven't finished writing it yet. Play what you have then. I start fingering the keys.
Stop.
He can't stop. He fingers
Not the
everything.
fingering.
He can finger anything.
There's so much fingering in her book.
Guess what? I'll be the first to say it. Fingering isn't that fun.
I will agree.
And then I look back at her. She's closed her eyes. This one is called No Vacancy. I say quietly, then I sing it for her. I showed up rich while feeling poor. I thought it was a country song.
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, we can do another British rap.
No.
Okay.
Do the country song.
I showed up rich while feeling poor. I didn't knock out, they opened the door. Throwing stones, they pierced my eye. Leave penny cracks all down my spine. We were royally without a throne. Our castle didn't feel like a home. Echoes of I love you in the halls.
Cowbell.
Our words absorbed into the walls. I checked us in so we wouldn't leave. Thought maybe time would make us believe. If I took us back to the starting line, we'd never finish the line. My hands may or not be red, but my heart, it feels the bleed. If my soul had a neon sign, it would read no vacancy. If my soul had a neon sign, it would read no vacancy. Her body's really tired tonight. I
Why
should
did
sleep.
you leave that in? Just so you could sing it? Like, that was totally unnecessary. You're so funny.
I'm like so close to tears right now. I wish that's the meanest thing you've ever fucking said to me. You said some really terrible things to me before, and that was the most
I was like,
painful
I
thing.
basically just asked, did you do that for attention?
And what if I did? This is a video for my YouTube channel. Of course I'm doing things for attention. What the fuck do you think? Her body is really tired tonight. I should let her sleep. Willow sits up on the piano. You coming to bed? I want to. Which is exactly why I shouldn't. I swallow the yes that's stuck in my throat and look down at the piano keys. I place my fingers on them. You go ahead. She stares at me for a moment, but I don't look at her. I begin playing the song over again, and when I do, she leaves the room. When she walks upstairs, I hear the bedroom door close. I stop the song. I lower my head to the piano. What am I doing? And why do I not want to stop?
Oh, so he's keeping the ghost around because it's good
He's
for his music.
Yeah, he's H word and she's her muse.
Willow's
his
muse.
Chapter 14, I'm going to have to put an offer in on the house if I want to help her financiers eventually. Even if Layla doesn't want to live here, I would hate for someone else to buy it. I could hire someone else to run the place, turn it back into a bed and breakfast. Oh, so he wants to be a landlord.
Red flag, red flag, red
Pig.
flag.
There would be a constant revolving doors of strangers. She might enjoy that more than sitting alone in an empty house. And if I owned this place, it would give me an excuse to come back occasionally to visit Willow without Layla growing suspicious. Is that emotional cheating? Willow is a ghost. It's not like she would come between me and Layla, but I guess she has in a way.
She literally already
It
has.
is cheating if you want to have S with the ghost. What are you reading? Layla asks. I look over at her and she's dropped herself on her chest. Her head is tilted and her hair is spread out over the pillow beneath her. She's barely wearing anything. A silky see-through top that doesn't even cover her navel. A matching pair of cream-colored panties. I set my phone down on the arm of the couch and wrap my hand around Layla's ankle. I drag it slowly up to her knee, still trying to finish that same book. What book? The one about the game show host who thinks he's an assassin. She shakes her head a little. Doesn't sound familiar. I start to say, I told you about it, but then I remember that was one of the last conversations we had before she got shot.
I thought he was going to say, I told Willow. I told you. Oh, never mind. That was the girl who possesses your body every night.
Well, they share a pussy.
Two girls conjoined by one pussy.
Double the amount of stars in the
One
sky.
night only. One night only. Two girls, one pussy.
Layla's voice is a distant whisper hanging in the air as I struggle with whether I want to leave my sleep and follow that voice. Leeds, wake up. Her hand is on my cheek and we're pressed together. We're still on the couch. It's not surprising we fell asleep considering all the nights I spend awake with Willow. I've been able to get as little sleep as Layla gets. I slip my hand inside the back of her silk shirt and run my palm up her skin. When I do this, she presses her hand so hard against my chest she propels herself off the couch and onto the floor. Her sudden movement followed by the thud forces my eyes awake. I lean over on the couch in search of her. She's on her back staring at me. It's Willow, not Layla. My bad. I say, scrambling to help her off the floor. I thought you were Layla. When she stands up, she looks down at herself, at the clothes Layla put on earlier, or lack thereof. Why the fuck are you slut-shaming your own girlfriend? Popcorn Jake.
I'm thinking about putting in an offer on the house. Willow perks up at that. This house? You're really going to buy it? I nod. Does Layla want to live here? Probably not, but I could pitch it to her as a business investment. It would give me a reason to visit you. Why doesn't she like it here? Why doesn't she like it here? Every fucking night she falls asleep and is possessed. Would you enjoy that?
Can Adam and I take over?
Here.
Honestly.
Can we finish the podcast? Willow looks at me thoughtfully. What happened the night you and Layla were shot? I stand up straighter, shuffle my weight to my other leg. You can't just dig around in her head for that. It's not really something I like talking about. Willow is silent for several seconds. I could, but I want to hear your version. I don't like talking about it. I swore to myself, after I recounted every detail to the police, that I'd never talk about it again unless Layla asked. Willow is waiting for me to say something. I open my big, juicy mouth to respond.
Did he add that in?
No, that was in the book. Just as thunder rolls across the sky and a streak of lightning hits nearby, Willow flinches and the lights go out. Popcorn Adam.
The kitchen lights didn't even flicker. They just immediately shut off, along with every other appliance in the house. The sound of thunder is still rumbling through the house when Willow says, "Leeds?" She sounds frightened. I find her in the dark and she's no longer sitting on the counter. She's standing in the middle of the kitchen. I rub my hands down her arms reassuringly. "It's okay. The power just went out. It'll probably kick back on in a second." Willow steps back and says, "What's going on?" Her words come out quick and shaky. More lighting illuminates the kitchen, and I stare at her between flashes of darkness and bright light. Her eyes are full of fear. I can immediately tell I'm no longer looking at Willow. Layla?
Oh, he has a British
Oh,
accent.
I can't say the next part. Popcorn Jake.
What the fuck? Oh, you can't say that?
He has a big boy job.
Oh, he can't say what the fuck is going on?
I can't say my ooey gooey pussy.
He can't say daddy's ooey gooey cum dump banana cream pie.
He can't say I want to have S right here, right now.
He can't say stick it in my bum hole.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Hey, they beat the illiteracy allegations.
Oh, thank God.
Everyone was saying
Thank
it. They were like,
God.
we don't think that they can read.
I know.
What the fuck is going on? She says, her voice louder as she takes another step back. Why am I in the kitchen? I immediately grab Layla and pull her against me. It's okay, I say, trying to come up with an excuse as to why she's now standing in the middle of the kitchen. The power went out. It woke us up. Why don't I remember that? How are we in the kitchen? She releases a sigh. I feel her relax. I can immediately tell Willow has taken back over because she feels different in my arms. I'm sorry. Willow says, the lightning startled me. I must have accidentally slipped out of her. She'll remember this tomorrow. She'll remember waking up down here. The interview. Did Layla remember the next day? I nod. Yes. It was the first thing she asked about when she woke up. I played it off like she was half asleep when the power went out, so I made her go to the kitchen with me, and she didn't fully wake up until the lightning struck. And she bought that? Yeah, it was an easy sell. Anyone would believe they were in a daze or sleepwalking before their mind would automatically start to question whether or not they were possessed by a ghost. The man agrees with the nod. Did Willow continue to use her body even after that? Even after the slip up? I nod, but barely. It's not something that I'm proud of because no excuse is good enough for what we've done. Not even an excuse as worthy as ours. Did Layla ever grow to suspect anything? She was concerned about why she was so tired all the time. Chapter 15. She didn't ask a single question when it was over. She just rolled onto her side and looked at me sadly. I asked her what was wrong and she said, I don't want to go back. Back to where? I said. To nothing. I just like being inside of Layla. I like spending time with you. It gets harder every time I have to leave her body. He's literally falling in love with the ghost. He's falling in love with the ghost. Willow must be trying to get my attention. I go to the kitchen, open my laptop. She immediately begins typing. I have bad news. What? Layla just found the ring. My eyes immediately dart up toward the bathroom. Is she digging through my things? Yes. What did she do when she found it? She gasped. Then she put it back and immediately texted Aspen and told her about it. Shit, I say with a heavy breath. I sit down at the table and drop my head to my hands. Willow begins typing something into the document again. She doesn't know which date you'll be proposing, so there's still an element of surprise there. You shouldn't let this upset you. He's like, I don't want to marry her. I want to marry you.
What's the
Willow.
craziest thing is that they've only been dating for 8 months at this point.
And he wants to propose.
That's the thing with every single Colleen Hoover book, though, is that they get married and engaged so ridiculously fast. I'm gonna say something
Controversial?
It's like a lot of Mormons
And Christians. Do you know how many people from my college dated first semester, got married in between the 2 semesters, and then did not come back to school the next semester?
What's gonna happen when Adam and I are gonna hit our 7 years together and then we're both like, yeah, we're still not getting married?
It's not that. I just don't think I'm ready. But now it's all she's going to be thinking about. If you aren't ready, why did you bring the ring with you? I brought it with me because this trip was supposed to bring us closer together, and I feel even more distant than I did when we arrived. It's because he's spending more time with the ghost possessing her body than his actual girlfriend. Sorry. She grins as soon as I walk in the bathroom. She spits toothpaste into the sink, then rinses. When she walks over to me, she wraps her arms around me, pressing her mouth to mine. There's such a difference in her right now compared to the tired version of herself she's been dragging around during the daytime. She's definitely excited for the proposal. What are you doing? She asks, her voice in a disturbing level of cheerful. Working. You should take a break. Shower with me. I took a shower this morning. Oh no, now he's being like distant. Oh god, because he is uncomfortable. When I look back at her, she rolls her eyes and lowers her hands. Well then, I'll shower. She feathers her lips across my jaw. After I'm done with you. Before I can stop her, she pushes me against the bathroom door and drops to her knees. We haven't had sex in 3 days. I don't know that I can come up with a good enough excuse to refuse a blowjob without hurting her feelings. She's on a high right now. I'm assuming this trip is going to end with a proposal. She thinks we'll spend the rest of our lives together. Me and Layla against the world. Sometimes when I look at Layla, I wish she were Willow. At breakfast, I catch myself wishing I were chatting with the cheerful Willow over coffee rather than Layla complaining about her headache. Ew, this man is so crusty and disgusting. During the day when I'm chatting with Willow on the computer, I spend that time wishing she could take over Layla and I could talk to her face to face. And now, as Layla slides her tongue up the length of me, I kind of wish it were Willow doing this to me.
It's like, oh, my girlfriend who has a headache because my ex shot her in the fucking head is so annoying.
What happened to being able to get down and dirty with your ghost girlfriend?
Right.
Without the judgment of others. She wraps her lips around me and takes me in as far as she can, and her head falls back against the door, and I groan, putting pressure on the back of her head, not wanting her to stop now.
It's like fucking gagging her.
He's literally like
chill. Like you're thinking about your ghost girl.
Is he? One of her hands moves up and down the length of me in the rhythm with her mouth. The other hand is sliding up my stomach, and I grab it, squeeze it, and press it to my chest as I think about Willow. I imagine how Willow's kiss would feel. Would it feel the same as Layla's kiss? Would sex with Willow feel different than sex with Layla? How old is Willow? Something tells me she
doesn't have an age because she's a ghost.
Okay. Would she arch her back the same way Layla does when I push into her? Fuck. I release Layla's hand, gripping the back of her head with both hands. I'm about to finish, I say, warning her. She always stops when I say that so she can finish with her hand. She pulls back, breathless, and whispers, you can finish my mouth this time. Oh my god, no cum rag this time. There's a glimmer in her eye, and she takes me back into her mouth, and excitement. And I know this is her way of thanking me for a proposal that has yet to happen. If I wasn't on the brink of exploding, I'd probably put a stop to this simply because I know where her head is at. But where her head is at. Everything about this moment is wrong. Layla thinks she's pleasuring her soon-to-be fiance while I'm pretending she's the ghost I've been slowly falling for. That's the most iconic line ever written in existence. It's the strangest release I ever had. I don't even enjoy it. My legs tremble as she keeps her mouth on me, swallowing every last bit of deception.
Ew.
Oh my god, that's what he calls it. I don't make a noise. I just close my eyes and wait for her to stop. When she finally releases me, I can't even bring myself to look at her. All I can think are the words she said to me the first night we met, after I just told her she was the best sex I'd ever had. We always think that when we're in it, but when someone new comes along, we forget how good we thought it was before, and the cycle starts all over again. Is that all Layla was to me? a part of an endless cycle of relationships. I thought for sure she was the one. I felt it in my bones. Now all I feel is remorse because it wasn't until 10 seconds ago that I realized I had already moved on to another cycle. I had moved on to Willow. It's Willow I've wanted to talk to when I wake up. Willow I want to see before... Oh my god, this man is so disgusting for this. Willow I want to see before I close
Willow
my eyes
I want
at
to have
night.
S with. Willow I want to put my P in her M.
What's her M?
Mouth.
Oh. I want to put my P in her G. Her ghost pussy. I want to put my RP in her GB. Her ghost vagina. My real penis in her ghost vagina. Willow I want to spend all my time with during the day. I prefer Willow over Layla now in almost every way, and it's heavy, appalling, shameful realization. Popcorn Nicole.
Chapter 16. I shouldn't be shaking my head, but I am. You aren't wrong. She sits up holding a sheet up over her breasts. I tilt my head on the pillow and look at her. Do you not enjoy being with her? She asks. I used to, but now it's complicated. I keep my voice low because for whatever reason it feels like less of an admission if I say it quietly. A lot has changed between us since that night, since the shooting. We aren't the same couple we were in the beginning, like literally the only first 2 fucking months. She's changed. Like she's changed severely. Like traumatic brain injury, getting shot in the head, like a severe, like intensely scary moment. She's been really weird since.
Duh!
She's been through a lot, physically, emotionally, mentally. And of course, I would never give up on her, but I don't know how to finish my sentence. This always happens when like it's like very common for when women get cancer, their husbands will leave them. Like that's
so
very
sad.
common
That
thing.
is so sad.
Sometimes I wonder if I would have met her today, how she is now, would I have fallen in love with her as easily as I fell in love with her in the beginning? I don't know. Part of me thinks maybe I wouldn't be able to fall in love with this version of her at all. And I have those thoughts. It makes me feel like shit because I'm the reason she is the way that she is. I'm the reason she's so unhappy now because I failed to protect her. Lo's expression is sympathetic, almost regretful. Like she didn't mean to open up this can of worms. She inhales a soft breath and releases it into the silent room. Maybe things will eventually go back to exactly how they were in the beginning between you two. If it's any consolation, you don't seem as sad now. Not like when you first showed up here. I look at her pointedly. It has nothing to do with Layla and everything to do with you. Willow doesn't react to that with anything other than her eyes. They flicker a little as if she wasn't expecting me to say it. I shouldn't have said it. As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt the guilt, but I said it. I said it because it's the truth. I look forward to these moments with Willow more than I look forward to time with Layla. What does it say about me? You're a dickhead. Only solution I can think of is to buy this place. What does that say about me? So I am gonna drop like $400K on this house.
Yeah.
The only solution I can think of is to buy this place. If I do that, Layla and I can visit. Willow could still take over Layla's body the few times a year we come here. And then in the meantime, we could work on finding answers for Willow when she's ready for that, of course. I emailed the realtor and make an offer that's $10,000 over the asking price, but I let her know I'd like the option to continue to occupy the property during closing. I don't know how Layla will feel about staying even longer, but Layla's concern doesn't seem to weigh on my decision. I've made it, and I'm prepared to deal with the fallout. Are you bored about ghost pussy?
Okay, you were allowed to check your phone, so am I.
My mother texted me.
That could have been my mom.
We know that was not your mom. Your mom does not love you
Who do
enough
you
to
think
text
it
you. Gave $10,000 over the asking price because he's not good with his money.
I feel like that's not a lot in a house. In like the grand scheme of a house though, $10,000.
No, but like no one's fucking looking to buy the house in the first place. We don't need to put $10,000 over.
He's like, you know what? We're gonna be aggressive.
That's like me when I really wanted a chair from someone, like a vintage chair on Facebook Marketplace, and they were selling it for $75, and I was like, please,
$750.
I'll give you $100 right now, because he was like, no, I'm already giving it to someone else, and I go, please, I'll give you $100 faster. I'll meet you.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Leeds, it's been a while since you've been in the forum. I apologize if reaching out to you beyond the forum makes you uncomfortable, but I do have a talent for separating the wheat from the chaff. I believe you, and I hope you can believe me in return. I can help your ghost. There's no name attached to the email, but I recognize the title and the email address. Uncover Inc. How did he find me? I didn't even use my real name in the form. I immediately go to the form and check my profile, wondering if he pulled my information from Facebook somehow. All the settings are private though. But before I log back out, a chat message pops up. Did you get my email? I look across the table at Willow, but she's still eating, not paying attention to me. I shift to my chair and then hit respond. Yes. How did you get my email address? Never communicate with someone through a cell phone if you're hoping to stay anonymous. I, however, have no interest in you or who you are, so there's no need to be concerned. I'm interested in your ghost. Did you find anything out about her? No. Are you still at the bed and breakfast? I lean back in my chair and stare at the message, unnerved. He knows where we're staying? Willow walks the ice cream back to the freezer. You look tired, she says flatly. I am. You can go to bed, she says, waving towards the stairs. I'm gonna watch a movie. I don't want her to watch a movie. I'm not sure I want her using Layla's body anymore. Layla's tired too. She needs sleep.
He's getting possessive.
Willow stiffens at my words. She can see in my resolute expression that I've reached my immoral threshold.
He's
All
like,
right.
wait, this is too weird. And this is wrong. I banished thee from my girlfriend's body.
You wanna watch a movie? Fuck that.
Too much.
Get out.
Yeah.
You take my RP and I get to put it in your GP, or else get out of her body. You want me to get out of her? She whispers. I nod, then turn and head upstairs because I don't want to see the look on Willow's face. She isn't far behind me. She walks into the room a minute later, her eyes downcast. She doesn't look at me as she makes her way to Layla's side of the bed. She's still wearing the shirt she took out of Layla's closet earlier. Layla wasn't wearing clothes when she went to bed. Willow pulls the shirt over her head and walks back to the closet to hang it. She doesn't even bother covering herself on the walk back to the bed, but I'm not even looking at her body. I'm looking at the moon's reflection on her face and the tears on the rim of her eyes that are falling down onto her titties. She crawls onto the bed and pulls the covers up to her neck. Her back is to me, but I can hear her crying.
No.
And I get hard from that. I hate that I've upset her. I don't want her to be upset.
Oh, you added that in. I was like, what the fuck?
But I don't know how else to deal with this. She's a ghost who doesn't want help. I'm a guy who doesn't want her to leave. And, I'm hard. We're communicating through a girl that we have no right to be using like we have been, and I want to have S with her. It feels like a breakup, and we aren't even intimate. Her breaths are coming in short and shallow bursts like she's trying her hardest to fight back tears. The need to comfort her is overwhelming, especially because I'm the one who has made her feel this way. I move my head to her pillow and find her under the covers, then wrap my arm over her stomach. Willow rolls over. Her breast brushes my arm. Yeah, because that's important. I try to ignore it, but we're in a more intimate position than we've ever been in. It's hard to ignore when my face is just 2 inches from hers and she's looking up at me with home shining through her terrible eyes. I run the back of my hand across her jaw, angling her face more towards my popcorn Jake.
She keeps her eyes open as I slowly lower my head and rest my mouth against hers. There's hesitation on both of our parts as our lips slide
They're
against
not
each
even
other.
moving. It's just like...
I imagine that they're both like this.
Yeah.
There's hesitation as our lips slide against each other. It is as if we're both scared of what it will mean for our future. Will crossing a physical line by kissing her make me crave her even more? Will it make me never want to leave? Will it weaken my resolve to the point where I let Willow take over Layla whenever she wants? In this moment, I honestly don't care. In this moment, the only thing I can care about is my selfish, insatiable need to kiss Willow. I won't even care if this caused an upheaval in the entirety of humanity. Okay.
Selfish.
First of all, don't
What
ask
about me?
us.
Well,
Yeah,
I
like
wanna
literally
live.
what about me? I slide my hands in her hair and slip my tongue into her mouth, and I don't do it gently. I kiss her with a need. We should have gotten Brad and Adam to read this part.
Should I call them over?
We brought in the big guns for this one.
She moans into my mouth, and it fills me with even more urgency. I don't know why I'm kissing her like someone might steal this moment from us. She responds in kind, threading her fingers through my hair, tilting her body more toward mine. The pelvic tilt. Her mons pubis. She presses her breast against my chest, and a sensational pull rolls through me. I want on top of her. Inside of her? I want my mouth to cover every... That's just not possible. I want to hear every single sound she's capable of making. Everyone? This is your cue to make a weird little noise. And I want my hands and my tongue to be responsible for those sounds. The kiss has only gone on for a matter of seconds, but it's long enough that an ache inside of me builds and builds to the point that the kiss becomes painful. It becomes sad. I've never had so many emotions run through me during a single kiss before, but I run through every feeling my body and mind are capable of until the one I want the least consumes me the most. I ache everywhere, but it's the most prominent in my chest. It hurts so much I'm forced to pull away from her and suck in air because I feel like my heart is being strangled. Popcorn Brad.
Popcorn Adam.
I roll onto my back and try to catch my breath, but there isn't enough air in the world to ease this feeling. I find Willow's hand and I hold it, but it's all I can do. I can't kiss her again. I can't go through that with her again, knowing she's not someone I get to keep for the rest of my life. Popcorn Brad.
I shouldn't have done that. Now I don't want to leave. The only thing that feels important to me now is making sure Willow doesn't have to spend another day alone in this house. I'm full of an immense need to find answers for why Willow is stuck in her world, because I desperately need her to get stuck in the washing in mine.
What does it say? What does it say? What does it say? I need to know.
I tilt my head to look at her.
Ew.
And when I do, I wish I wouldn't have. It just makes it worse because she's looking back at me with a broken heart. She rolls toward me and tucks her head into the crook of my neck, curling herself around me. Every time I have to leave her body, it feels like... It feels like a punishment.
That's how we imagine the character.
Every night, over and over. It's torture. I wrap my arms around her, wishing I could fix everything for her, but I can't. I just made it all so much worse.
Wow.
That was so beautiful.
Wow.
You guys are so good.
Damn.
They should finish this video. That was really good.
Wait, we should do a Trisha Paytas video where the 4 of us sit and
Yes,
read
we
it.
should. Oh, that would be so fun. Oh, they don't want to. They
Chapter
finish?
17.
Oh my god.
I run to the front door and swing it open. Layla's sitting on the porch step staring out over the front yard. There's a cigarette in her hand. What are you doing? She doesn't turn around to look at me, which makes me wonder what she found out. But there are so many things. The cameras, the conversations on my laptop, the kiss last night. I walk tentatively towards the steps and watch as Layla takes in a slow drag of the cigarette. I wasn't aware you smoked, I say. She blows the smoke out. I don't, but I keep some hidden in my purse for when I'm stressed. She cuts her eyes at me, looking over her shoulder. But I'm not sure what it is that caused the betrayal in her expression, but she definitely uncovered something. I keep my voice steady when I say, "What's wrong, Layla?" She looks away from me again. Her voice is flat when she says, "Why didn't you tell me you were buying this house?"
He's like, I did.
Her face contorts into a mixture of confusion and anger. My sister got married here. This place means more to her than it does to me. I don't even like Kansas. I've said it in all the ways I can possibly say it without being rude. She shoves the shirts in the suitcase, hangers still on them. What's your ultimate goal, Leeds? To force me to live somewhere I don't want to live? Or were you hoping I'd leave you and go back to Chicago? I rush to the closet and dig inside my shoe. I frantically pull out the engagement ring. I had a plan, Layla, I said, walking over to her. She's staring at the ring in my hand. I was going to propose to you tonight and tell you about the house. I had it all planned out. You weren't supposed to find out this way. Layla has stopped packing. She's staring at the box, and then she lifts her eyes to mine, but they're filled with anger. I already saw the ring. You realize you left it with the receipt inside the box, right? I don't know why that matters. I would have taken it out before I proposed anyway. Why does that matter? You bought the ring while I was in the hospital, Leeds, 6 months ago. That means you spent the last 6 months doubting whether you even wanted to be with me. She turns and zips up her suitcase. If you don't want to leave, it's fine. Stay and close on your house. But I don't like it here, and I don't want to stay here. I'm taking the car.
Can I just say, I think like she's overthinking that, but she should leave her.
The ring 2 months into knowing her.
Yeah, but like her justification for being angry
Yes,
is like
yes.
you just like were questioning. I feel like people plan a proposal, like that's like a thing. So I don't understand why she's angry about all that.
Stupid.
She's like, you tried to make it special, you weirdo.
Because you shouldn't, I want to say. Instead, I stand up and grab her hand. I look at her intently, and what I hope for looks like honesty. Because what I'm about to say is honest. I knew I want to marry you the first night we met. I have never felt more connected to someone like I did to you. What I follow up with that is a lie, though. I want to spend my life with you, Layla. Please, marry me. She believed that. I can see that in her expression. All her anger has turned to relief. So you haven't been doubting us? Yes, for 6 months. No, not even for a second. Chapter 18. You don't eat enough. My words come out harsher than I mean for them to. Layla looks up at from the food that she's been planning to take bites of. I've eaten enough to gain 3 pounds since we got here. I'm not just talking about these past 2 weeks. You barely get 800 calories a day tops. It worries me. My body is used to 800 calories. I function just fine on that. No, you don't. You're always hungry. Layla laughs incredulously. You say that like you know my body better than I do.
Oh, that's a weird line to put in there.
I proposed to Layla today, so it only makes sense not to push her away when she wanted to make love tonight. She took off all her clothes and said she wanted to make love while she only wore her engagement ring. She's like, ooh. I had to think about Willow again in order to get through it. Then when it was over and Layla wanted to cuddle, I pretended she was Willow while I gently ran my hand up and down her arm until she fell asleep. Willow sits up in bed. She wraps her arms around her knees and is quiet for a moment. I want to know what happened that night. Can't you just look at Layla's memories? I want to hear your version. There's not much to tell. Sable shot Layla, and then me. When I entered the room, I ran for the gun. Willow doesn't react with words, so I can see her whole body stiffen when I say that. So, you shot her? She asks in a whisper. I nod. The memory of it all still feels surreal. Willow rests her head on top of her knees and continues to stare at me. Who was Sable to you? I dated her for a few months last year before I met Layla, but you broke up with her. Why? I swallow the thickness in my throat.
Wait, he shot Sable? Mm-hmm. So Sable's dead, potentially.
I thought it would end in being a one-night stand at first, but she kept coming around. I didn't do anything about it because I didn't mind the company, but before I knew it, she was posting pictures of us online, calling me her boyfriend, and coming to every show. Garrett and the guys band thought it was funny because they knew I was dragging it out because I felt sorry for her. Let it continue for several weeks longer than I should have because I didn't want to upset her. And then she started taking things a little too far, and it left me with no choice but to break things off. Taking things too far in what way?
Willow is her. Sorry. I know it.
She was upset that I wouldn't tell her I loved her back after only knowing her for a couple of weeks. She was upset I hadn't posted a picture of us together on Instagram. She'd get irrationally angry when I would tell her I wasn't looking for anything serious, and then she'd try to tell me all the reasons she thought I was wrong. In my head, we were having fun. In her head, she was practically planning our wedding. And I finally did break up with her. She wouldn't stop calling me. Then she came to one of our shows, started screaming at me because I wouldn't take any of her calls. I had to get her kicked out and wouldn't allow her at any of the future shows. I had to cut her off. Didn't know how else to deal with it. I thought she'd eventually get over it. Is that why she showed up to your house and did what she did? Because you had moved on with Layla? I don't know, honestly. She was definitely upset by a picture I had posted with Layla. Said enough to reach out to Layla on social media, but the police said that she had a long list of diagnoses, some of which stem from childhood, depression, bulimia, bipolar disorder, you name it. And she wasn't taking her medication for any of it. Maybe that's why she did what she did, because she really was unstable stable. That had to be terrifying for Layla and you. I nod. It was. Why does it seem like you feel guilty about it? It doesn't sound like you did anything wrong. People break up all the time. I don't feel guilty for breaking up with her. I feel guilty for ending her life. I could have easily held her at gunpoint until the police arrived, but I didn't. I let my anger at what she'd done to Layla take over her. I took her life and I regret it since the moment I did it. Popcorn Jake.
Willow's voice is quiet when she says, you did what most people would do in that situation. She had an obsessive personality, and you were the casualty of that. How were you supposed to know how deep it went, and that she had a fan club for you before you even met her? She leans to me a little, urging me to make eye contact with her. She forced you to take it as far as you did, and she showed up to your house with a gun. That's not your fault. I don't talk about this to anyone, so it's nice to hear her say those words. I'm about to tell her thank you, but then my blood chills, freezes, shatters like tiny shards of glass exploding inside me. The words just came out of Willow's mouth, are rushing through me, searching for a place to belong, but they don't belong. Her words don't belong in Layla's head. She never mentioned specifics about Sable to Layla. I never told Layla that Sable had a fan club. I thought he did.
No.
Oh. How does Willow know anything about Sable? That's not something she should know. I grab her wrist and sit up, rolling onto her back. I crawl out of bed and stand next to it, staring down at her. Her eyes are wide with confusion at my sudden movement. I squeeze my jaw, silently trying to piece together a puzzle that seems so complicated, but it's really that simple. It's a puzzle that only consists of 3 pieces. Me, Layla, Sable. Is that why Willow's here? Because she's Sable in need of closure? If that's the case, why would she go by a different name? Why do you call yourself Willow? I asked her. My reaction is making her nervous. She rubs her hands up against her arms. You asked me what my name was. I don't have one. I just made it up. My words feel stuck in my throat. You made it up? Yes. I already told you I don't have any memories. How would I know what my name was? I've never even spoken to anyone before you, so no one has ever asked me my name. My mind begins to whirl in every possible direction. Why have I not considered this possibility? Sable is dead. I'm responsible for her death. That's why she's here. Leeds? Willow tosses the blanket aside as she watches me pace the room. What's wrong? I can't stop walking. Then I turn around and face her. I feel like the bottom has dropped out from under me and I'm about to free fall straight through the house. How did you know Sable had a fan club? Her eyes fill with something else now. Something Willow's expression is never full of. Guilt. For the first time since I arrived in this house, I'm finally having the reaction I should have had all along. Fear. Get out of Layla. Leeds. Get out, Layla. Willow scrambles her feet. Leeds. Wait. You don't understand. It's confusing inside her head. Nothing makes sense. That's not my memory. That's one of Layla's. She's in front of me now, pleading. I feel like a fucking fool. I never told Layla that. She wouldn't have that memory. Only Sable would know that. Willow's hands go up onto the sides of her head like she can't come up with an excuse quick enough. Willow is Sable, and I should have recognized that immediately. I get to the kitchen. I grab my car keys, and then I turn to see Willow standing in the doorway. We're leaving. I need you to get out of her. She shakes her head, looking at me with imploring eyes. Even if I was Sable in a past life, I'm not her now. I could never do what she did to you. What she did to Layla. I'm squeezing my keys in my fist, full of even more fear now. Every time I've asked Willow to leave Layla before she's done it. What if she refuses to leave her now? What am I supposed to do? You said things were chaotic inside Layla's head. They're chaotic because you have memories that aren't Layla's. She nods. How many of Sable's memories do you have? I don't know. I don't know what memories are Sable's, and I don't know what memories belongs to Layla. I have both when I'm inside of her. It's why I told you it's a chaotic mess inside of her head. Because there are 2 versions of everything. Like what? I blow out an unsteady breath and turn away from her. She's been lying to me this whole time. Do you remember the shooting? Yes. Do you remember doing it? There's a pause then. The memories all seem like mine when I'm inside of Layla, so I don't know. It's there, but is it mine? I don't know. I turn around and look at her. Why else would you have access to Sable's memories? She looks away from me, covering her face with her hand full of shame. I don't know. She stands up quickly, rushes over to me. If I was Sable, I'm not anymore, Leeds. I could never be capable of something like that. I feel sick to my stomach. Get out of Layla. I plead, knowing it's a hollow plea. There's no way she's going to let us leave now. Sable got to us once before, and now she's gotten us again. And I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, you dumbass. You fell for it. You fell for a fucking ghost, you stupid bitch. Sorry, it's like dumb. He's like, oh my gosh, what happened? Why is this happening? Because you're stupid and a cheater. Leeds, what's happening to me? I grab Layla's hand and pull her up. We need to leave now. She's hysterical. I need my medicine. I'm freaking out. I packed it. Why? I need it. Where is it? I'll get it for you in the car. We need to leave right now. Let's go. Why are we leaving? Why am I downstairs? She spins in a circle. I can't remember anything. I think something's wrong. Something's wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you, Layla. It's the house. We need to get out of it. She looks at me. Okay, she says, her voice full of nervousness. I open the door and push Layla out first. Hurry, I say, needing her to be faster before Willow takes over her again. Listen to me, Willow says calmly. Her coolness is such a stark contrast to Layla's hysterics. If I was Sable in a past life, I'm not anymore. I'm Willow, and I can never do what Sable did to you. Oh my god. Sorry, the ghost is like pleading for this. Please! For this crazy man. He's like, please, I'm not. I swear I could never do that to you. I would never. If you want to leave, I'm going to let you leave, but I shake my head. I don't even want to hear what you have to say. I want to leave. Do me a favor, she says. Will you email that man and ask him to come here anyway? I need to figure this out. Wait, did I skip something?
No, basically, Willow remembers that there's a man who wants to come and help her with, like, the ghost situation and stuff, and he's like, I want to help your ghost. And so she's pleading with him, like, will you at least just email that guy to come and help me, even though you're gonna leave?
I clear my throat. I'll email him tonight. Thank you. Another tear falls out of her eyes. She looks up to the right, her face pained. I hope you have a good life. And then she's gone. Layla is hysterical again. Please, Layla, please, get in the car. I'll always feel this constant pull to this place no matter where I am in life and how far I drive away from here. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Why do I care what happens to Sable? Is she manipulating my thoughts somehow? Yeah, she is, dude. Duh. That's the whole fucking book.
Duh!
Willow, I say into the air, I have a question. Get back in Layla again. Up in my whip. Layla is still yelling my name, begging me to hurry. Then she stops. She's suddenly calm and she unbuckles herself and opens the door. Have you ever gotten inside of me? I asked her. She immediately answers with a shake of her head. No, of course not. You said you only have memories when you're attached to a body. I say, is that right? She nods. If a man comes to help you, then you're going to need a body. You're going to need those memories. Oh my God, he's pawning off his girlfriend's body again. It takes my words a few seconds to register, but when they do, Willow covers her mouth with her hand, trying to stifle her cry. Then she drops her hand to her chest over her heart. You're going to help me? Yes, and I have no idea why, so please don't make me regret this. Please. Willow shakes her head adamantly. I won't. But Layla isn't going to stay here willingly, not after tonight. Oh my God, that's why she's tied to the fucking bed? I know. This is the moment I truly question myself as a boyfriend. A caretaker, a human being. I don't know why I feel so strongly about saying or why I feel so strongly about keeping Layla here with me. My behavior right now goes against any moral I have. Popcorn Nicole.
My gut is telling me that this terrible decision will pay off when it's all said and done, which means that in this moment, I'll likely regret it the most. The interview. I'd like to speak to Willow now. The man says. He doesn't stop the tape recorder. He just stares at me expectantly, waiting for me to go upstairs and untie Layla. When I make it up to the bedroom, I can tell Willow is already inside of her. He makes me nervous, she says. He seems harmless. He's just so ambiguous. It's a one-sided conversation all night. He hasn't offered up anything. He rests his hand on the table, rapping against it with his fingers. What's your first memory of this place? Willow shrugs a little. I don't have a specific first memory. You just feel like you've always been here? She nods. Yes, I mean, I know I haven't, but I don't remember not being here, if that makes sense. Of course it makes sense, he says gently. It's just like birth. Humans know they were born, but they don't remember it. This is no different. Willow seems to relax a little bit with this comment. The man leans forward, eyeing her closely. Leeds tells me you have memories of your past life. I have memories that belong to both Layla and Sable, but only when I'm inside of her body. What memories do you have when you aren't inside Layla? Just the memories I've made here. The man nods in understanding, still studying her intently. But I have feelings, Willow adds, even when I'm not in a body. What kind of feelings? Do you think that you were relieved to see him specifically, or just people in general? Could the feeling have been because you were lonely? Willow shakes her head. No, I was relieved because I felt like I'd missed him. I'd felt nothing for Layla, only Leeds. Chapter 19. I don't know what to call her now. Willow or Sable? Sable seems like an insult. It's hard for the name to even pass through my head without it consuming me in a wave of negative emotions. Even now, knowing what I know, the Sable I knew and the Willow I know still seem like two separate people. Maybe Willow is right. In this realm, she's just Willow. She's not who she was in her past life. Leeds. When she says my name, my eyes finally flick open. I immediately sit up on the bed. Layla has turned the lamp on and is standing next to me. She's pulling on my hand now. Something is wrong, she whispers, her voice panicked. She attempts to pull me out of bed, but I don't move. She finally releases my hand and goes to the dresser. She pulls out a pair of blue jeans and steps into them. Something is wrong with me, Leeds. We need to leave. I don't want to be here. I try to keep my voice steady when I say, you had a bad dream, Layla. Come back to bed. She looks at me like I've insulted her. She takes 2 quick steps forward and says, I'm not dreaming. She says the word dreaming in a feverish way, but then she looks away as if she's embarrassed by her own outburst. I'm not dreaming. You know it's not okay. You were there earlier. You were trying to leave too. She grips her forehead with one of her hands and spins in a circle. She's like a fucking dog who's like spinning around in a circle before it lays down. Guilt knots in my stomach because of the direction her thoughts are going, but I say nothing to disprove those thoughts. But is it right to let her think that she's losing her sanity? Layla stares at me for several long, worrisome seconds as if she knows I'm holding back. Distrust slips between us. It's just a flash. She's trying to leave. She can't leave. I chase her. I pass her. I get to the front door before she does. I press my back to it, stretching my arms out across it. I can't let you leave like this. You're upset. She shakes her head, small fast jerks, and her eyes brim with tears and fear. Then she rushes to the kitchen. I follow behind her, watches as she takes a knife out of the butcher block and spins around, waving it wildly at me. Let me leave. Her voice is low and threatening, but also trembling. Put the knife down, I plead. I'll put it down when I'm in the car. I shake my head. I can't let you leave, Layla. You can't make me stay. Why are you trying so hard to make me stay? She covers her mouth with her hand to stifle a sob, but she keeps the knife up, pointing in my direction. Something is happening to us, Leeds. You're going crazy. Or maybe it's me. I don't know. But it's this house. We need to get out, please. I grip the back of my neck as I try to think of what to say, how to calm her down. The car won't start. Her eyes narrow. I tried to start earlier. It's dead. We can't leave until the battery I order gets here. She points the knife at me like it's her index finger. You're lying! I'm not lying. Let me restart it. She begins to walk towards the exit to the kitchen, but I block it. That's when it really hits her. Until this moment, she was just confused and a little bit scared, but now she gets it. She realizes I'm not entirely on her side. Suddenly, as her screaming begins, it stops. Willow has taken over. You're going to have to lock her in the bedroom, she says. I walk out of the kitchen because I need more room to think. I pace the foyer, my hands clasped together behind my head. She'll try to climb out the window. Lock her in a different bedroom. They all have windows, I say. Is there a basement? I can't do that to her. No one wants to be locked in a basement. No one wants to be locked up anywhere, Leeds. I spin around and face Willow. Can't you stay inside of her until the man gets here? She shakes her head. Her body is too exhausted at this point. I can't keep her awake no matter how hard I try. I'd rather Layla not be in and out of consciousness like this. It's driving her mad, but I'm not sure I can let her go at this point. She goes straight to the police. I'm in it now. There's no going back. That's so funny that that's the line that they draw. They're like, so we can tie a woman up to a bed, but we are drawing the line at putting her in the basement.
We can also like use her body.
Yes.
Like however we want for the neck, for like whatever.
Also, like, I'm very convinced that there's something about this like lack of autonomy, lack of like use of the body that is a common theme in Colleen Hoover books. Because in Verity was stuck in her bed, like basically like chained and
then was like
bed.
blamed for everything too.
Chapter 20. I open my camera app, set my phone on the dresser, and point at Willow. She's sitting calmly on the bed, legs crossed. I hit record, and then I go sit on the bed next to her, squeeze her hand reassuringly because she looks nervous. I look into the camera on my phone. Layla, I know this is confusing. I know it's scary, but I need you to listen to me. Out of breath, there's someone in this house. Someone we can't see. It's bigger than me and you. She's stronger than me and you. And until I help her, we can't leave. I look at Willow. What's her name? Willow. Are you in danger to Layla? No. Am I in danger to Layla? No. Am I holding Layla against her will? No. But I am. Just for another day. Layla looks at the camera. Then it'll be over, Layla. Please don't be upset with Leeds for this. It's out of his control. What will happen if Layla tries to escape? I ask her. Like a threat. What will happen if Layla tries to escape? She's still looking at the camera when she says, you can't escape, Layla. It's better to just wait this out as calmly as you can. With that, I walk over to the phone and stop the recording. She's going to be scared when she sees this, Willow says. She's already scared. I turn out the light, but the room isn't pitch black because the sun is probably about to rise. I have a new notification from the forum. I frantically move my fingers across the screen to unlock my phone. I'm on my way. That's all his message says. He didn't even ask questions. I'm relieved, but I also have no idea what to expect, who to expect, when to expect him. That's just so fucking crazy to me that they're like, so because it will help the ghost, we do have to stay and tie you to the bed.
Yeah, but I think it is like a good idea to like take that video, I guess, and be like, look.
Would you believe that?
Babe, I don't even believe in ghosts. So like this whole thing is far-fetched. That's all I'm saying.
I need to show you something. After I show it to you, you'll understand why you're tied to the bed. She doesn't even look at me. She's still sobbing. I hit play on the video and she doesn't look down at the screen. I make sure the volume is all the way up so she can hear my words through the tears. She's staring up at the ceiling and she continues to do so until she hears herself speak. When she hears her own voice utter the name Willow, her eyes fall to my screen. She witnesses a memory of herself that she can't remember and she watches in silent horror. And then she screams. It's a scream like nothing I've ever heard. The sound of it rips my heart in half.
I feel like this would be a good movie.
Popcorn Jake. I will give you my thoughts at the end.
Okay. I opened the door, not quite sure what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't this guy. He's in his late 30s, early 40s. He's wearing Jiffy Lube shirt and he smells like motor oil. Sorry about the smell. He says, waving at himself. It's the only body I could find when I got into town. It's the only... What? What the fuck is going on? He pushes the door open and squeezes between me and the door. He chuckles at the expression on my face. Yeah, you thought I was like you? This is so stupid. I'm sorry, this is so dumb.
I imagine Halloween Town.
Yeah. He looks around the foyer and into the grand room. Nice place. I can see the appeal. I close the door and lock it. You're like Willow? The man turns to me and nods. Then he puts his attention to the top of the stairs. Layla is beating the headboard against the wall. Who's that? My girlfriend Layla. Why is she making all that noise? I had to tie her to the bed. The man raises an eyebrow. Is she gonna be an issue? I shake my head. No, she's just upset with me. But I don't need you to help with her. I need you to help with Willow. Where's Willow? She's here. Layla needs to rest though. I don't want to use her yet. So I'll answer whatever questions I can until you need to ask Willow specific questions. The man walks to the kitchen and sets the briefcase down. He opens it and pulls out a tape recorder. How do I know I can trust you? The man glances up to me. You don't have any other choice, do you? Chapter 22. You sound so sure that Sable has anything at all to do with this. This man turns his attention to Willow. Have you ever taken over Leeds? No, only Layla. I think you should try it. I'd like to see how your memories compare while inside his head. Willow looks at me with concern. I won't do it if you don't want me to. I'm fine with it. I am fine with it. I'm fine with anything he thinks might help us get out of this situation. I see myself on the screen, so they recorded him taken over. I see myself on the screen, and right when I say, I'm ready, Willow, on camera, there's an instant change in me. My posture stiffens. Willow? My head nods up and down. It's so strange seeing myself do things that I don't remember doing. I turn the volume all the way up on my phone so I can hear the conversation. What do you feel? The man asked Willow. Worried. Don't be. I just want to clear up a few things. I need you to try and see everything from Leeds' point of view from now on. Can you see his thoughts, his memories? Willow nods. I want you to go back to the day Leeds and Layla were shot. Do you have that memory? Yes. You can see that day from this point of view. This feels wrong. I shouldn't be in him. It feels different. I only want to use Layla. Girl, what a line. Just give it a minute. I still have a few more questions. What did Leeds feel? when he heard the gun? He was scared. And what did Sable feel? I don't know. I can't find that memory. Do you have another memory of that moment? No, just the memory Leeds has. Oh my God, wait. Conspiracy. Long Island Medium is just a ghost possessing that woman's body.
Oh, and that's the body that she chose to use. She goes, this is the only body I could find when I came into Long Island.
I died at Lewis's pub down on the block, and this was the only body I could get there. It was crazy.
Her hair, like, it is what it is, but I was just like, I can work with this.
Yes, and you know what? I was actually the one who did the volume.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I died in like the 80s.
You know what they say in Texas? The higher the hair, the closer you are to God. I don't know what accent I just did.
I'm actually the deceased Bumpets lady.
Oh, I love me a good bumpet.
That's why I wear them
The
everywhere I go.
taller the hair, the closer you are to God. I cannot say
the taller
that.
the hair, the closer you are to God.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Do you have another memory of that moment? No, just the memory Leeds has. I remember what happened before he heard the gunshot, but not during. What happened before? He was in the bedroom with Layla packing for a trip. What about after that? What's the next memory you have that doesn't belong to Leeds? There isn't one after that. All of these memories belong to Leeds. Okay, the man says, almost done. Let's back up. Go back to the night Leeds and Layla met here. Oh my God, wait, did Leeds shoot her? I have that memory. What did Leeds feel the first time he looked at Layla? She blows out a steady breath and then she laughs. He thought I was a terrible dancer. Okay, good. You can leave him now. The man says, in the video, my eyes flick open. I'm staring directly at the camera again. Then the video ends. I lock the screen on my phone and fall back into my seat. You asked like 3 questions. I say, waving my hand toward my phone. How did that even help? This man was still staring at my laptop. Willow is pacing in the kitchen behind me, biting her fingernails again. This entire thing seems pointless. I'm ready to call it quits and get Layla out of here when the man looks up at Willow and says, why did you say he thought you were a terrible dancer? She looks from him to me. Because that's what I felt in that moment. But you didn't say Layla was a terrible dancer. He says, you specifically said he thought I was a terrible dancer. You referred to yourself. Oh my God, wait, more twists? You referred to yourself as Layla when you were in Leeds' head. Oh, I don't know. I can't explain that. The man motions toward her chair. Sit down. According to Layla's medical records, they had to resuscitate her after she was shot. Once before the paramedics got her into the ambulance and again at the hospital. That's right, I say. Like I told you, it was touch and go for an entire week. So she flatlined. I nod. Switched it, death. Switched to death. Sable and Layla. You said Layla has been acting different since the attack. Memory loss, personality changes. Can you think of anything else about her that's different now than it was before the injury? Everything. It affected her a lot. There are things about Willow that reminded you of Layla. Of course, she's in Layla's body and we communicate. So there's a lot of similarities. How did it feel taking over Leeds' body? Strange. Does it feel strange when you possess Layla's body? Yes, but in a different way. How are they different? It's hard to explain, she says. I didn't feel like I belonged in Leeds' body. It felt foreign, hard to control, hard to remain in his head. But you don't feel that way when you're in Layla's body. No, you feel like it's easier to possess Layla's body. Willow nods. Does it feel familiar? Willow's eyes cut to mine for a brief moment. Then she looks back at the man and nods. Yes, that's a good way to describe it. The man shakes his head. I've never seen anything like it before. Anything like what? Your situation, it's very unique. How so?
Are any of you H right now?
It depends. Do you want to S her when you're in Lisa's body?
Who do you want to S more right now? Willow?
He gets all Wendy Williams. He's like, who do you want to S more right now?
Raise your hand if you think that he should S Willow. Or what is it? Clap if you think that she should die. Clap
No,
if you think that
it's
she
death to all of them. I knew it was possible, but I've never seen it myself. I want to strangle the words out of him. Can you please just tell us what's going on? Okay, Josh Peck. Can you please just tell us what's going on? He nods. Yes, of course. Death from a bullet wound is usually a result of excessive blood loss. So it probably took Sable several minutes to die after you shot her. And in the same time frame, Layla also flatlined. There were 2 souls in the same room that left 2 bodies at the same time, which means Layla's body was revived by paramedics. There was a strong possibility that the wrong soul entered the body. You are not the body.
It's Freaky Friday.
Yes, it is! Freaky lovely bones.
Freaky dead bodies.
Popcorn Nicole.
Bear with me, he says. He nudges his head towards Willow. When Willow is inside of Layla, she can remember things from both Sable and Layla's point of view.
He's literally like this.
But when she was inside you, she could only remember things from yours and Layla's point of view. My eyes started glazing over at like this. Like I understand everything, but like when I was reading this part of the book, my eyes just started to glaze over because I was like, oh, there's like 4 things that I can't do. Number 1, direction. Number 2, you explaining board games to me. Number 3, I think you explaining a joke to me. Number 4, you start explaining like 3 different names that are involved in bodies getting switched out. Sorry, can't do it.
Yeah, that's like, that happens on the daily. Like Nicole's eyes glaze over because everybody's trying to explain to her like, like how the spirits got swapped.
Yeah, it's really stressful for me. The reason it's hard for your girlfriend to remember things isn't because of memory loss. It's because they aren't her memories. Just search for them. And even then, she can only pull up a memory when it's prompted. The only logical explanation for this would be that the soul has been walking around inside Layla's body since the night of the shooting is not Layla. It was a feat for me to come to terms with being an afterlife, but this is beyond the capabilities of my imagination. This is absurd, ridiculous, unfathomable. Sable is Layla, then where's Layla, I ask. He points at Willow. She's right there. I look at Willow, too confused or maybe too scared to accept what this delusional man is trying to spoon feed us. This is Colleen Hoover's proof that she doesn't believe in like traumatic brain injuries. She just believes in ghosts and soul swapping. Someone was like, yeah, I have a traumatic brain injury. I like have amnesia and I can't remember like the past like 30 years of my life. No, it's not true. Another soul entered your body.
No, you were living out in the spirit realm.
There was
while
two
someone else was
souls
there.
in the same room with two dead bodies. Things got switched and confused.
It was like that movie or that TV show on ABC Family.
Yeah,
I
which
watched
one?
it.
Which one?
Switched at birth.
Oh, or Freaky Friday.
Or Freaky
with Jamie
Friday.
Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Or the original from like 1980.
Nobody watches that. We call them spares, he says. They're like souls who no longer have a body, but the soul isn't quite dead, so they aren't considered traditional ghosts. It's very rare that the circumstances are right for something like this to occur, but it's not unheard of. Two souls leave two bodies at once in the same room. Only one of the bodies is revived. Really look at her. Part of me wants to believe this guy, because that would explain the inexplicable pull I feel towards Willow, even when I thought she might be Sable. It would also explain why Layla has seemed like a completely different person since the accident. But if he's right and Willow is Layla, that means I shake my head. It would mean Layla's dead. You know,
Layla's dead!
it would mean it's Layla has been stuck in the house alone on the counter. My knee's weak. I'm trying to think of a way to disprove his theory or prove it. I don't even know which theory I want to be true at this point. I think back on everything that could be a clue. Things that have been missing from Layla's memory over the last 6 months that I blamed. I turn and look at Willow. What's the deadliest time of day? 11 in the morning, Willow says instantly. I stiffen at that answer. Everyone's fucking stiff. Everyone's fucking stiff as shit.
No,
Everyone's
ghosts are stiff.
dick is hard.
Everyone's dick is hard.
Who here has an E right now?
Erection. Who wants to put their E next to her C in her V while they S?
Who here has ever put their E inside of a GP?
You.
I've always wanted to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I really, really hope that when The Rock dies and I die, we're up in the spiritual ghost world. I really want The Rock to put his GP in my GV real bad.
It's rock hard.
This
GP.
fucking is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is
And this is our
actually
best
like
one.
no. This is actually fucking ridiculous. If you're Layla, you would know this. My voice is fearful, hopeful. What was your first impression of me? She blows out a shaky breath. You look like you were dying inside. I can't move. This is too much. Holy shit. When Layla woke up from that surgery, she was not the same girl I fell in love with, but all the things I loved about Layla in those first couple of months of knowing her are exactly the same ones I started noticing Willow. Personality, her mood, her playfulness, the familiarity, and the way she kissed her strange and random fact. I used to tell Layla she was like a morbid version of Wikipedia. I press my lips to hers and I kiss her. I kiss Layla. As soon as she kisses me back, I feel everything I used to feel when I would kiss her. Everything that I thought I lost, it's right here. It's been here all along. I look over my shoulder and the man is no longer standing in the kitchen. We both rush out of the kitchen and to the front door. Wait! I say, running after him. Where are you going? You don't really need me anymore. You found your answer. I shake my head. No, we didn't. You have to fix it now. Sable is still in the wrong body. Layla is still stuck in nothing. I wave my hand towards Layla. Switch them out.
Switch them out.
Switch them out now. The man looks at me pityingly. I find answers, but that doesn't mean that there are always solutions.
Teresa Caputo would say that. I love that.
I find the answers. Doesn't mean that there's always solutions. I try to remain calm, but I want to strangle him in that response. Are you kidding me? What are we supposed to do? There has to be a way to fix this. The man rolls his window all the way down and leans over the door. A human dies every second, and they don't always die the right way. I have a lot more people up. I can't fucking do. Like, you are the king of the Long Island accent. He raises a hand in the air.
I won.
I'll keep in touch online. Sure. Would like to see how you two work this one out.
That was good. That was a strong ending to
Thank you so much,
Good
Popcorn
job.
Jake.
Chapter 23. First of all, Colleen Hoover wrote this book so that when we made this video and I was like, he's cheating on her with the ghost. She's like, at the end, like,
Just kidding.
You thought. I actually don't give a single flying fuck.
Oh, Jesus. This is what you
Just
always
because,
say.
like, the twist is over, you know? We've done the twist. Like, I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna be like, you guys have to run into each other really hard. No, I don't know.
Like in Freaky Friday.
Yeah, no, I don't know. The mood in the house has shifted drastically in the last hour. We spent the first 10 minutes kissing, hugging, and fucking and reveling in the knowledge that our love somehow transcended realms. Okay, I know people like this. Our love transcends realms. Do you think Sable knows? Layla asks, pulling back to look up at me. I shake my head. No, I think she's probably just as confused as you are. She has these memories that she can't explain, that don't belong inside the head she lives in. What, are you bored?
No, I'm talking my phone stuff.
Hey guys, while I have you here, definitely go listen to the podcast. Why are you angry? What do you remember about the night you were shot? I don't like talking about that. You know that. Why? Because you don't remember it like I do. She shakes her head. No, it's because I don't remember it at all. That's not entirely true. I say, I think you just remember it in a way that's confusing to you. She shakes her head. I don't want to talk about it. I continue to speak despite her pleas to stop. I know what's going on inside your head. You say you have amnesia, but I'm not so sure you do. It's just harder for you to access Layla's memories because they're mixed up with other memories. That's why sometimes when I bring up something from the past, you don't have that memory right away. It's like you have to sift through them, dig them up. I can see her breath catch. I lean forward and look directly in her eye. Do you sometimes feel like you have too many memories that don't even belong to you? Her bottom lip begins to tremble slightly. She's scared, but she's trying to hide it. Do you remember opening the door when Sable knocked on it that night? Yes. But do you also remember being the person who knocked on the door? Her eyes widen. Why would you say that? Because you're Sable! Are you crazy? Your memories are confusing because you're in the wrong body. Stare becomes threatening. You better let go of me right now, or I will have you arrested so fast, Leeds. I will. Don't think I'm going to forgive you for this. Have you known this whole time that you might be Sable? Fuck you, she hisses. Let me go. Why did you punch the bathroom mirror when we got here? Do you see Sable's face sometimes when you look in the mirror? Of course I see your face sometimes. She shot me, Leeds. I have PTSD.
This is the craziest line.
You don't have PTSD. It's an actual memory.
Don't you talk to me like that. I definitely have fucking PTSD. It's also 10:30 at night, so me screaming,
Okay.
don't you dare look at me like that. I definitely have PTSD. It's probably really insane for my neighbors to hear.
No, they've heard worse.
No, they've heard worse. They've heard worse.
You sound like a lunatic. I keep my voice steady when I say, you shot me. And you shot Layla. And now I know you remember doing it. I shot Layla. I am Layla. I know it's confusing, but you aren't Layla. You're only able to access some of her memories because you're inside of Layla's head and you have access to them. When I shot you, you died. And when you shot Layla, she died. But only for a few seconds, long enough for you still to end up in the wrong body. And Layla still to end up stuck here in this house. You're scaring me. You aren't making any sense. I am Layla. How could you possibly think I'm not Layla? I would begin to list all the proof, but there's too much. Instead, I just try to think of any question Layla would be able to answer right away. One Layla I was already answered, but that Sable would struggle to remember. What song did I sing you the first time we met here? That was a long time ago. What song did I sing her? You have 3 seconds to answer me. 1, 2, 3. Remember me? No, I sang. I stopped. Layla, remember? Stop talking about like I'm not Layla. That's insane. Chapter 24.
Just imagine like a person who's going through clearly like a very hard, difficult, mental, discomforting time.
Yeah, like she was literally shot in the head.
And then this guy comes along to
like,
you while you're going through psychosis, and he's like, so you shot me, and then I shot you, and then you died, and then she died, and then now you guys are switched.
And then you got frappuccinoed in heaven. She sucks in a heavy breath, and then she exhales. She says, you're going to have to kill me. And then I hope to hell that you can bring me right back. I squeeze my eyes shut, trying to push her words away from me. I don't even want to hear them, but she continues talking. If I can flatline long enough for Sable's soul to leave my body, then maybe my soul could take it back over before you bring me back. Stop. I say immediately, it's too risky. So much could go wrong. We can't live like this forever. But we can. That's incredibly optimistic.
Yeah.
Ghosts possessing a body right now. Chapter 25. Layla has spent the last 2 days meticulously planning out her death. I love her first sentences of chapters. It's really like she's good at that. I spent the last 2 days trying to find alternative solutions. Sadly, I found nothing. He wasn't researching very hard, to be honest.
No.
She grows weaker. The longer she continues to take over Sable, the less sleep Sable gets. And when Layla does leave her body long enough for Sable to sleep, Sable sleeps very little. Only when the meds kick in, and even then, not for long. Hopefully Aspen doesn't notice the bandages. Hopefully Aspen doesn't notice anything. Layla's legs are across my lap, and we're mindlessly watching TV. Do you want to read any of this? Or?
Sure.
Okay. Popcorn, Nicole.
Layla's whole body jerks from the unexpected commotion behind her. Almost immediately, I see the change. It's like I can tell the exact moment when Layla slips out of her body now. I freeze when I recognize Sable has taken over. The unexpected splash in the pool must have startled Layla like the night the lightning scared her. So Chad, or whatever the guy's name is, and her sister Aspen are back in town.
The boys are back in town.
And she switches when Chad jumps into the pool.
Oh.
Sable's eyes widen and she looks over her shoulder, sitting straight up in her chair. She stands up, suddenly knocking her chair backward. What the? How do I get outside? I stand up immediately and try to slip between her and Aspen, but Sable takes a quick step back. Don't you dare come near me, she screams. Shit. Aspen stands low. Layla, what's wrong? Sable continues to back away from me. She points at me while looking frantically at Aspen. He's drugging me. He won't let me leave. I shake my head, ready to defend myself, but before I can open my mouth, Sable pulls one of her shirt sleeves up, revealing the bandages on one of her wrists. He keeps me tied up. I lunge toward her to stop her, but before I reach, her arms fall to her sides and her eyes close. I stand in front of her, gripping her shoulders, trying to shield her from Aspen's view. Layla inhales a slow breath, and then when she calmly opens her eyes, I see the fear pool in her eyes. What is wrong? Aspen says, her voice louder and full of panic. What do you mean he's drugging you? Aspen pushes herself between me and Layla, breaking us apart.
Sorry, you need to read. Just kidding?
Just
Layla
kidding?
says.
She just said Leeds is drugging her and keeping her tied up. I was kidding, Layla says, looking back and forth between them, attempting to explain the outburst. She's forcing a smile, but everything is so tense now. That's a weird thing to joke about. I don't think it's a joke. Show me your wrists again. It was an inside joke. Tell her, Leeds. Layla shakes her head adamantly. Aspen won't. I saw the look on her face. She doesn't trust you now. She presses her face against my chest. We can't keep doing this, Leeds. I want it to stop. I nod, but only because I want her to relax. I'll momentarily agree with anything if it puts her mind at ease. Tonight. I want to do it tonight. Please, no, we're doing it tonight. My lungs feel dense with water. I clear my throat. How are we supposed to do this tonight? Your sister is here. It's as if she's been thinking about this whole time. She answers immediately. I think drowning would be the easiest way. We'd have to time it perfectly. You'd have to make sure my heart stops before you start to resuscitate me. I separate myself from her and begin to pace the concrete surrounding the pool. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. I don't even know how to do CPR. Aspen is a nurse. What if I can't bring you back right away? What happens if the ambulance takes your body away before you're able to slip back into it? Don't let them. Make sure Aspen brings me back. How do you know Aspen will know what to do? She's a nurse. She saves lives every day. I don't like this. What if it works and we bring your body back? How do we know Sable won't come back inside of you? I won't let her leads. I love you. Her words are muffled against my chest when she says, I love you too, so much. That's how I know this is gonna work. Yeah,
This
way
is
to
so
traumatize your like sister. And did you just say this is so good?
This is would make a fantastic movie. You cannot lie to me.
I'll give my thoughts at the end. Chapter 26. It's been 2 hours since we came upstairs to prepare for Layla's drowning. 2 hours since it started. What'd you do?
Heart.
She's planned everything out. She even wrote down instructions and is making me study them like this is some kind of fucking college exit exam. Number 1, hold me underwater until I'm no longer struggling for air. Number 2, check my pulse. When it stops, call 911 immediately. Number 3, wake up Aspen. Number 4, start resuscitation. Number 5, you only have 5 minutes to save my life.
What the fuck?
She lifts a hand and touches the side of my head. I know you're scared. I'm scared too, but the longer we let this
Raise
go
your
on,
hand if you were scared.
I'm gonna be. We need to do it now before we have more slip-ups. Clap if she should suffer. That's what it is. It's Wendy Williams going, clap if you think she should suffer. That's what it is.
Okay.
She grabs a sheet of paper and folds it up. Then she walks to the bathroom and flushes it in the toilet. On her way back to the bedroom, she grabs my laptop and sets it onto the side of her bed. She clears her throat and then says, I typed out a suicide note. I think it's important to have one just in case. Cover my face with my hand. A suicide note? How are you so calm about this? You just wrote a suicide note. I don't want you to take the fall for this if it doesn't work. I scheduled it to send as an email for 4 hours from now. You know the login of my email. If I don't make it, I'll have the email sent. If I do make it, delete it. Because it's going to everyone, Leeds. You, Aspen, my mother. She grabs my hand, wanting me to stand up, waiting me for her to follow her. I kiss on top of her head, but I don't say anything. Listen to me. I'm going to have to let Sable take over. It'll be better if she's scared and confused when her heart stops, because I'll be alert and ready. She's right. Layla will have an advantage if she's waiting by the sidelines. As soon as I slip out of her in a minute, Sable's going to panic. When she wakes up, she'll see that she's in the pool with you. That's when you do it. You shove her under and you hold her down and you don't let her up for air no matter how scared you are or how guilty you feel. Thank you for finding me, she whispers.
I love wholesome reads. I just
She's
keep
gone.
rewriting it.
It's no longer Layla I'm holding, but Sable. I can feel a change in the way she jerks against me and then lifts her head from my chest, wide-eyed. I have my hand over her mouth before she can even scream. Maybe it's the part of me that resents her, that finds strength, or maybe it's the part of me that wants Layla more back than I want air, but I do it. I shove her under. In order to hold her there, I have to use every part of me. I cage her body between my legs. I wrap my fingers in her hair for leverage. She thrashes in the water, claws in my arms and my chest. She tries everything to escape, to take in a breath. She's screaming just under the surface with lungs swiftly taking in water. I stare up at the sky because...
You're saying this so matter-of-factly. You're like, with their lungs filling with water.
I stare up at the sky because if I look down at her, I'll stop. I wouldn't be able to look at Layla's face and continue to do what I'm doing. Even though I know it's Sable behind Layla's eyes right now, if I looked into them, I'd be afraid that I wouldn't see as terrified as Layla. I squeeze my eyes shut and tighten my hold. I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for her to stop struggling. It feels like it'll never end. I count as I hold her under. I get all the way to 118 seconds before she finally stops fighting. And even then, when I think it might be over, she claws me again, her fingers seeking out savior. She grips my left wrist and she squeezes it with very little strength. And then I feel nothing. Popcorn, Jake.
I'm very excited because I remember that they installed cameras everywhere, and I'm hoping that this ends with him getting arrested for killing her.
But that would mean that a Colleen Hoover book makes sense.
A whale escapes my throat. A whale. Wendy Williams is a big fat whale. Escapes my throat when I see Layla's lifeless eyes. Her arms are limp at her sides. I hook my hands under her and start dragging her toward the steps at the shallow end.
Aspen!
I scream, help. It's almost impossible to move her as fast as I imagined I would move her. The backs of her legs are dragging against the pool steps, then the concrete. When I finally have Layla on her back at the side of the pool, I grab for my cell phone. I dial 911. Aspen, I scream. I start administering CPR the exact way Layla showed me how to do it, but I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. The phone's by my side. When an operator picks up, I just start screaming and address into the phone while I try to resuscitate Layla. 5 minutes. That's all we have. I'm sorry, an even better ending to this would be that the ghost was Sable and that this whole plan was contrived to put him in prison. Wouldn't that have been such a good ending to this?
That would have been good.
5 minutes, I whispered. Her lips are blue. Nothing about her feels alive. I need Aspen because I don't know if I'm doing this right. But then I don't want to leave Layla's side. Aspen! I scream again. Layla! I whisper her name. Can she hear me? So is she resuscitated?
Aspen's trying.
Okay, if she's not in her body right now, is she still here? Is she watching this? Is she watching me? I hear a gurgling sound. Aspen immediately turns Layla's head to the side. I watch as water spills out of Layla's mouth and onto the concrete. Layla! I scream her name. Layla! But her eyes open. She's still unresponsive. They're 8 minutes away. That's not soon enough. And once again, Layla begins to choke. Layla, come back, come back! Aspen grabs her ribs to check for her pulse. She has a pulse. Barely. You only have 5 minutes to save my life. I immediately slip my hand under Layla's arms and start to pull her up. What are you doing? We need to meet the ambulance. I yell, let's go. Chad helps me carry Layla to the front yard. We slip her into the seat of my car, and Aspen and Chad both climb into the back with her. Aspen keeps her hand on Layla's wrist to make sure she maintains a pulse. Faster, Aspen says. I can't go any faster. The gas pedal's touching the floor.
How do they know what direction to drive in?
I don't know.
How do they know what direction the ambulance is coming from? Silly.
They're driving away from the ambulance. He actually wanted to kill her this whole time. Another good ending. I help Chad and Aspen drag Layla out of the back seat. She is still lifeless. The paramedics meet us at the gurney. They pull her into the ambulance. When I start to climb after, Aspen grabs me and pulls me back. She pushes her way in front of me and climbs into the ambulance. When my eyes meet hers, she's looking at me like I'm a monster. Stay the fuck away from my sister. The doors close. The ambulance speeds away. I drop to my knees. Chapter 27. It's been 38 minutes since I pulled her out of the water. I'm pacing in the waiting room. Chad is several feet away on his phone, probably trying to call Aspen. We haven't seen her since she walked into the emergency room. Chad had to pull me out of the road and drive the car here. I was too upset. No one is able to tell us anything. 39 minutes past. 40. I look back at Aspen as she starts to cry hysterically. Chad is forced to hold her up. He carries her to her chair. Why? Why did you do this to my sister? There's nothing I can say or do to take that assumption away from Aspen. Too much has happened tonight to make her believe I am innocent. And if Layla doesn't make it, neither do I. Because no one will ever accept the truth. If this were the last month, I wouldn't have believed the truth either. But the idea that Aspen will never trust me again, even if Layla makes it, is still not an outcome I'm okay with. Leads. A voice comes from behind me. I stand up and spin around. At the same time, Aspen jumps out of the chair. A doctor is standing at the entrance to the waiting room. Leads Gabriel, he says. I can't help but feel relief that the man is sparing me from an explanation I wasn't able to give to Aspen, but I'm terrified he's here to deliver news that I'm not prepared for. I step forward. Is she okay? The doctor pushes behind him. She's asking for you. There's no emotion on her face. No way to tell if I'm staring at Layla right now or if I'm staring at Stable. I want to believe it's Layla because I feel like it's Layla. I need her to say something. Layla. My voice is a whisper, a question. A single tear falls out of her eyes and rolls down her cheek. Leads, do you know what you look like right now? I shake my head. Her mouth curls into a smile. You look like you're dying inside. That statement becomes the only proof I need. We did it. I sigh, pressing my cheek to hers. We did it, Layla. Say it again. Say my name again. Layla. Layla, Layla, Layla. She kisses me. Layla. Kisses me. Layla. We need to produce this movie.
You think this needs to be in a movie?
And we're going to fucking change the ending. He's going to get arrested.
To make him get arrested?
Yes. Because that would be actually such a fucking good horror movie. The original her is actually her. And she's actually like affected by the brain trauma. Right? And then the ghost is Sable. But Sable's like tricking her as Willow. Okay, and so like we'll go through all this shit, right? Like everything, all those twists and stuff. But then at the end, she like literally dies, and then on the camera, they see him drowning her, and he goes to prison.
Interesting. And also,
way better
all the
ending.
times that he's like having sex with her while she's like drunk, or on drugs, or like on camera of him crushing the pills into her wine.
Yeah,
and stuff.
wouldn't it be a really good movie? It's so saltburn.
That's like what I wanted to say about the whole thing is that Colleen Hoover, like Verity, and this is clearly her niche.
This is better than Verity.
I think the creepiness, the paranormal, the like anything that isn't a love story, that's what she should be doing. Sure, there can be romance in it, but I think it's the way that she goes about the romance that it makes it unnecessary. Out of all the books, like, this is the book I have like the least amount of issues with.
I agree.
Do I still think like that guy is like fucked up? Oh, absolutely. Do I think she's necessarily portraying a negative message to young girls though, that like this is normal? I don't think so, because it's a perspective of like a guy who's clearly like fucking up by cheating on her with a ghost. Whereas I think in all of her like love stories, she's like, this is love, and it's like a clearly very toxic situation, like blaming the woman. Once again, like, we still don't know anything enough about Layla and the guy, because like there's no backstory enough.
Right,
It's just,
that's what I was gonna say. Like there was no basis for me to really think anything about Layla.
no, she comes up with a good concept. I think it's just the writing that is an issue. I had to cut so much out of it out because all of the book is literally just like, she wakes up, she goes to the pool, I'm still trying to research how I can communicate with Willow.
Yeah.
She goes to bed, Willow and I talk, she eats a lot of food. Oh, also, I really want to fuck her, but like I can't because that's wrong, and I'm mad at, like, every single day it's the exact same thing, and it's so repetitive, and there's like, it all feels like it drowns together, and
I will
it's so
say
repetitive.
the timeline of all of this was super confusing.
Obviously these characters are meant to be flawed. Do I love reading about him like having sex with his drunk girlfriend all the time? No, I don't love that. Do I love not knowing a background for any of these characters, and you're just supposed to immediately, like, it feels like she's writing about the same characters every single book.
Yeah, that is so true. There's no difference between like
they just
Tate,
have
Rachel,
different
any of
stupid
them.
names, and it's like they fall in
Miles.
love immediately. Like it's like love at first sight. Something traumatic happens, and then they're like trauma bonded.
Yeah, like I want one time for her to write something like two high school sweethearts. They break up, they go to college or whatever, and then they meet later in life again.
But make it creepy.
Yeah, but make it creepy. I would really like that. I think this is her best book that I have laid my eyes on. Seriously.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
Very good.
I don't hate this book. It's just that the style of writing, if someone else picked this up to make a movie, like a different director, a different writer behind it, I think that the concept could be great. I think Colleen is good at that. She's really good at plot twists. A lot of times I don't immediately catch it, and the plot twist that I'm thinking, I'm not always right about.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Like,
Please,
I thought for a moment that the ghost possessed Layla the night that they met, like at the thing. Like, I thought that was a possibility.
Yeah.
And why they seemed so lovey-dovey when they were at the bed and breakfast when they first met, and then why things kind of went sour afterwards.
Yeah.
I think she's good at plot twists. I'll give Colleen that. She's good at plot twists. Just like let someone else handle the romance and the writing.
I completely agree.
There were some
I'm
good
glad
lines
she
in
went
this.
a different direction than what I thought she was going to
Yeah.
do with like,
Yeah.
because I thought she was going to do a dissociative identity disorder
Yeah,
type
she
thing.
should not touch
because
that.
it was becoming really like this episode of Psych. There was an
heard of it.
episode of it where somebody did have DID, and it was very like, it was odd. Like nobody could remember. They like the guy couldn't remember a lot or whatever, and it just sounded like this. And so I was like, oh no, like I hope she's not doing that. This to me, because it was so make believe, is like almost fine with me. Like I'm pretty okay with all of it. Yeah, there's like some dicey moments with like obviously like her being intoxicated and stuff. I would just say like this is definitely one of her least problematic books, and whoever requested this is
There's
smart.
quite a few
It was
people who
really
requested
good, yeah.
it. I can at least appreciate that there was not some like long manuscript at the end of the book explaining everything that happened in it. Because that happened in
right. I hate that.
That happened in Ugly Love, where like he had to explain everything about how like the baby died. That happened in
There's no
November
writer in
9th.
this.
There's no what?
There's no writer in this. Neither of them are writers.
Oh,
He's a
thank
music
fucking
guy.
God.
But like she would
Yeah.
always write about
Yeah.
writers. But yeah, I
No
agree.
writers, no pregnancy.
Yeah.
No dead baby. Oh, the Verity thing, like explaining everything at the end.
Yeah,
November
Verity
9th,
has to be
explaining everything at the end. I
way worse
hate
than
that.
this.
I hate that I need to watch a movie and at the end of it. And even though Saltburn did that to a small extent, you could go without
See
that.
the cracks on the way too.
Yeah, you could go without the explanation at the end and still understand the rest of the
That's
movie.
what
I also wish that they like developed more about Sable, or like Sable's point of view.
Yeah.
Because why did Sable suddenly decide, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show up to the house and shoot her in the head.
And that's what I was gonna say. When we produce this movie, like we need to like flesh out Sable as a character,
Right. And they're like, well, she was unstable. She was depressed, bipolar, and had bulimia.
And was like obsessed with him or whatever.
I
He didn't
didn't-
even have 5,000 subscribers when I think she should stay in the make believe world more.
Yes.
It's really good when she
Yes.
does. Like I would be curious to see her do something in like the Lord of the Rings kind of category.
I think she would even do something to do with sci-fi or
yeah. This
or-
was infringing on sci-fi a little bit.
Yeah, I think if she kept up with the spookiness, it's because of her plot twists. They're good.
They're really
That's the
good.
thing. It's her romance book should not be labeled a romance. It should be labeled like a psychological thriller.
Yeah, this was awesome. This is a good book. Yeah. This is like the only one that I can confidently say, like, maybe you pick it up and read it. Maybe you like skip a few parts, but you know, like if it starts getting boring, like go like 20 pages ahead and see what's up there.
Or just watch this video.
Or just watch this video. Yeah, watch this video.
If you guys want to check out our podcast, make sure that you tune in every other Monday. Talk nasty to me. If you want to follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, T-Pop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. Jake.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at JakeThatcher_ or TikTok at JakeThatcher_. You know what? Or like find me on Facebook or something. I'll let you.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. Don't find me on Facebook.
We're gonna go.
We have 2 men tied to the bed in Nicole's room.
That's actually true.
That's true.
That's actually true. So we do have to go.
I mean,
Thank you so
exorcisms
much.
perform.
Peace and love.